Hey everybody, welcome back to Tactical Tortoise. My name is Trevi. Just a really quick reminder that this is a rebroadcast of a game that was recorded over on the new Twitch channel for Tactical Tortoise. You can find that ostensibly over at twitch.tv/tacticaltortoisetv and catch all our games live. For the time being, we're doing all of our streaming over on the Twitch channel and then moving some of the rebroadcasts over to the YouTube, but not everything's moving over. So if you want to catch us live or catch those archived VODs, then please go over to twitch.tv/tacticaltortoisetv and give us a follow. It would be really appreciated. This is the finals for the Rapidfire Pod 3 from T5S2 Season 2. It's a doozy of a game, an Adepta Sororitas mirror match, which is super cool. So, please enjoy. Buddy, welcome back to the stream. We are here with the T5S2 Rapidfire Pod 3 finals game between two Adepta Sororitas lists. Not, I think, a result everyone was expecting, although sisters are doing really well right now. But that said, a mirror match in the final round, that's pretty exciting. And what's more exciting is that we have two sort of interesting builds of sisters. Pretty common ones, I think, but this is going to be kind of an ultimate test to determine which one is most effective in this game. And so I'm pretty excited about that. I'm here with Shuma, who's going to be keeping me company for this game. How's it going, Shuma?
Hey, doing pretty well.
And yeah, we're going to watch some of these ladies duke it out. We got Doots over here in the red. Dude's a regular in the Discord, at least, playing constantly, and I'm excited to see him on stream. Definitely, I think, one of the best sportsmen that we have on the server, which is very exciting, versus Rentar, a.k.a. Ash C, from the server as well, who is no stranger to the finals tables. She was a Season 1 finalist, making it into the Invitational Day 2. Unfortunately, lost an extremely close game to Nick Rose in the Invitational, but looking to make get another chance at it this season with a bunch of finals tables under her belt. So I think this is going to be an exciting game between two awesome players, and I'm super excited to commentate it.
It does look like it's going to be interesting. It's definitely a decision between who has the best sideboard unit selection here.
Yeah. So interesting about these lists. The core concept of the list is basically the same. Almost every Sororitas list right now is built around 3 units of Sisters Repentia. Not necessarily because they hold objectives particularly well or anything like that. But what they do is they force your opponent to not
die an early death.
Yeah, you cannot yourself move on to objectives early without the Repentia just coming in and immediately murdering everything that you love. And
it's hard to hold an objective when you have been cloven in twain.
Yeah, and that allows the remainder of the sisters list to sort of to fight through. Now, talking about the players' lists here, we have Doots in the red playing a combination of Bloody Rose, obviously for those Sisters Repentia, which is very nice. And, as we see Junith Iruita being placed down here, Order of Our Martyred Lady. Now, this is sort of a more recent change in Sisters list builds. Now that Multi-Meltas have received their incredible buff, they benefit a lot from any the Retributor squads, I should say, benefit a lot from any reroll abilities. So Junith Iruita gives you has a 6-inch aura of reroll once they hit and wound for those ladies, and just makes them super duper efficient. They also can potentially get +1 to hit from their special stratagem. They ignore the penalty to move and shoot. They're just a solid unit. They also have 2 Armorium Cherubs apiece, so they could just put out a massive number of really high efficiency multi-melta shots. And that's something that's really been coming into Sororitas lists lately to back up the Repentia. So basically, these sisters lists are just trying to play this peace trading game where they have a lot of these little, relatively fragile units, like they're only toughness 3 infantry almost across the board, but each one of them will punch ridiculously above its weight class. On the other side, Rentar is playing essentially the same core of the list with the 3 units of Sisters Repentia in Rhinos in a Bloody Rose battalion. But she's already also bringing some additional characters. We have Oh, this is annoying. My Steam overlay is popping up. Get out of here, Steam overlay. We also have Celestine as well as the Triumph from St. Catherine to back those up those ladies. And I think even more interestingly, 3 units of 3 Mortifiers with heavy bolters and flails.
I love those units.
They are very
They're
cool.
cool looking. They're high output. And they're just neat.
Yeah, actually, I'm working on currently doing a datasheet deep dive comparing the Mortifier and Penitent engine datasheets, and Mortifier is definitely pretty interesting. A pretty good unit. Now, some interesting fun facts about them. They do not have an order keyword, so they don't get any benefits from your order, and they can't use any order stratagems. That said, unlike Penitent engines, they do have the Adepta Sororitas keyword, so they can use generic Adepta Sororitas strats. So, which means that you get access to Holy Rage to advance and shoot them, and they also advance and shoot their heavy bolters as assault weapons. So their damage output's kind of pretty. It's pretty good because they get 6 heavy bolters apiece. They have 6 heavy bolter shots.
That and like what 18 attacks in close combat apiece.
15 attacks. Yep, 15.
15, yeah, 15 per. There's between 3 of them. That's 45 attacks.
Yes, it's a lot.
Which is that's like 1.5 Ragnars per model. It's quite good. Those are units that utterly terrify me.
Ash has told me that she doesn't like the Retributors with Junith. I can see that. I mean, I don't think they're for everyone. They are sort of they're a very straightforward unit. You know, your opponent kind of has to walk into their line of sight and range and in their threat range and sort of play alongside the Retributor game plan where they shoot you with guns and kill you, and not have the ability to kill you out of line of sight. That's sort of one thing that Sisters don't do very well. It's a lot of their armies are relatively squishy. I mean, it's not that easy to kill, but if you can take these ladies out with artillery or something like that before they get to do their thing, it's very bad. And Ash's game plan is generally very aggressive. She has a very aggressive play style, and so I can definitely see that she would not enjoy playing the Retributors quite so much. Obviously, their damage output is still pretty decent, although D6 damage is really spiky.
Yeah, that well, I mean, it's spiky insofar as sometimes it's just 6 when you spend a faith point.
Yeah, a miracle die for sure. That will definitely smooth things over. Plus the new melter rule to get +2 damage can help out.
So here's
a
a
lot.
question. So this seems like it's really a contest between Junith and St. Catherine, but which of them has the better method of conveyance around the battlefield?
Walking versus being on a flying plinth?
No, having 6 canonesses carry you inside of a tiny box versus walking, like, flying around in sort of like one of those rascal scooters, but it, like, flies.
Yeah, well, I guess, I mean, the Triumph is reflectant of the all 7 models on the base, right? The stat line includes all of them, so I guess it's a question of whether or not the Triumph is just this little casket.
Like, if you could have 6 of your friends carry you around in a box or a cool car, which would you choose?
This is let me clarify one thing real quick though. Junith Aeroida does not have a cool car.
You're not wrong.
She has a dumb pulpit with flamers on it.
Well, I guess it's fair to say I don't think St. Catherine was friends with any of these ladies either. Like they
she's
probably
like,
sniped at each other a lot.
Yeah,
a lot of professional disinterest there.
Yeah, just professional acquaintances in the Adepta Sororitas here. We just work together.
These were all like LinkedIn friends, but not Facebook friends.
So some very defensive placements being forced by Ash C by Rentar, I should say, because of those Retributors. So the presence of those Retributors sort of forcing her position. Obviously, these Rhinos now have to deploy in the corners rather than being able to go a little bit more aggressively.
Really quite interested to see what the peace trading game in this game looks like, thanks to these Anchorites, or the Mortifiers. The Anchorites is the Mortifier Sergeant. Like, typically if you can, you'll plow a Repentia squad into another Repentia squad, right? Like, get that first hit, consolidate, and then make sure you're touching another unit. Just make sure you're at least the one initiating that trade and forcing your opponent to deal with it. But the Penitent engines, or Mortifiers, I always get them so mixed up.
Mortifiers.
They're very vulnerable to Repentia, but they also cost less. So it's like an interesting choice, because if the 3 Mortifiers touch anything in either of these 2 armies, that thing will die. But also they're slow, so they're like a countercharge piece.
They also
there's just a strong back and forth here.
I mean, they can. Fortunately, they can clear
So
their
also shoot
Repentia
quite
pretty
well.
well. So like they're a good sort of defensive piece.
Yeah.
Having heavy bolters is good. I don't know if it's going to make a huge difference this game, because all of our Martyred Lady stuff is going to be in a Tale of the Stoic aura, so it's not going to be affected by the -1 AP off those heavy bolters. But it is going to be nice to have some of that, like, impactful return fire shooting, because you do need a way to clear out those Retributors as soon as they break cover to shoot you. If you don't kill them, it's going to be bad.
There's no difference between the profile of a heavy bolter and a regular bolter against a sister who ignores AP1.
Yeah. That's true.
They are the same gun.
Yeah, a little spoiler.
Better against the Rhinos, though.
Looks like we're rolling to go first here. I'm going to send it back to the players' mics real quick so we can...
Little spoiler, sisters will win this game.
I'll be going first, of course.
Yeah, that's a good plan.
Look like Rentar taking the first turn.
Good luck, have fun.
Good luck, have fun, yeah, sounds good.
But a little spoiler from the video that we'll be releasing this week. Penitent engines are terrible. Mortifiers are better in almost every way.
That seemed to be the case directly out of First Blush, and seems to have also been maintained throughout the game. Like, you could have a buzzsaw, or you could just hit 15 times.
Well, they both have the same melee weapon options, interestingly. Their melee damage output is almost identical.
The Penitent engine have the flails?
They can swap them, you know.
I did not know. I thought each had the one that they had.
No, they have the same. But interestingly,
that's my knowledge.
The Penitent engine actually deals more damage in melee, because it's a 4+ weapon skill, but it has Zealot, so it rerolls hit rolls. Versus the Mortifier only has a base 3+ weapon skill, but the Mortifier has heavy bolters, which are better, and has the Adepta Sororitas keyword. So it actually can use stratagems, and it's also faster for some reason, despite being on the same chassis. It's faster and has access to advance and charge, so it's just like sort of light years more mobile.
Yeah.
And then those heavy bolters are also going to stack up damage as, you know, before things get to melee, so you start applying damage to your opponent's army earlier.
Yeah, that was one of the big shifts. Like, earlier on, when the Codex first released, they seemed very similar, and then suddenly heavy bolters doubled the damage without any costs changing. And suddenly Mortifiers looked quite a bit more beef.
This is some aggressive play from Rentar here. Just jam those Rhinos right in there.
Are the Repentia in those Rhinos?
Yeah.
You know, what do they have over there that can knock these off? They've got not a lot, really. Where are the like out of turn 1 before deep striking occurs? Like, where are any sort of multi-meltas or melta pistols over here? They're just all out of these Retributors who are on the wrong side of this ruin to have good shots. You'll be able to fire maybe at one of the 2 Rhinos.
Well, I mean, they can just duck out of outside the ruin, right? Like, you'll easily get 2 units of Retributors firing in there, and they can buff themselves for additional range, so you can probably get all 3 units shooting at them. But I think the question mark is,
one would have hard time getting line of sight range.
You're sort of initiating the peace trade. Like, even if you're able to kill the 2 Rhinos, you can probably mop up.
Yeah, you hit them with your own Repentia.
With your own Repentia, but then, like, you know, at that point, they've done their job. They've just traded for Repentia, because those the Repentia are then going to get killed by the Mortifiers. This is going to be a really interesting game, because I think all of the
that is unless it pops. If he pops both Rhinos and then one Repentia squad kills 2 Repentia squads, that's just a dramatic trade. That's not even a trade. That's stealing.
Yeah.
You're not losing anything back. That's like, yeah. Losing 1 Repentia squad for 2 and 2 vehicles is, you know.
Yeah, so we should talk about
that's how we got Alaska.
Because we do have some interesting side units in here. I'll go over them very briefly. Exclamation point lists in the chat if you want to get the link to them as well. Anybody who's interested.
Tell me about these babies. Yeah, I heard you love the winged babies. That's like one of your favorite models.
Yeah, definitely my favorite aesthetic in the entire game of Warhammer 40k is little babies flying around.
Why are they out here? Are these separate units? I thought that these were like
Armorium
Retributor,
Cherubs?
like parts of the
They're-
Retributor squad.
They're tokens. They are meaningless. I think Dudes is
Okay,
just
okay.
putting them off to the side there so that they don't interrupt anything moving. And to make it clear to his opponent that they have them active, which is very good. Sometimes you just sort of wing it, and then that can generate feel bads. But obviously, as we mentioned before, Dudes is a consummate sportsman, so definitely wants to.
I wonder if they'll do that to like ammo runs and the various grot-based squad upgrades.
Yeah, it's interesting because especially the orc stuff, like a lot of them has a rule that it's still on the table. Like I'm, think about the artillery crews specifically.
Yeah, or like the classic shock attack gun mech's Secret Service bodyguard that he brought with him everywhere to absorb the first las cannon.
So looking at Rentar's list, we do have it's built into a single battalion from Order of the Bloody Rose, as I mentioned before, being led by Celestine and the Triumphant St. Catherine, I think both of whom are standing on Objective 4 inside this ruin. We also have a Canoness with a Null Rod and who's been upgraded with Beneficence and Righteous Raid, so sort of a smash Canoness, if you will. We have 3 units of Battle Sisters. 2 of them have Storm Bolters. Just to throw some additional shots out there. In Elites, things get very interesting, obviously, with 3 units of Sisters Repentia, 2 units of 9, and 1 unit of 8. A Preacher, as well as an Imagifier with the Beacon of Faith and the Book of St. Lucius. We also have a unit of Seraphim with 4 Inferno Pistols, so 2x2 Inferno Pistols. Those 3 units of Mortifiers, all with flails, all with heavy bolters, and 3 Rhinos. Now, interestingly, mathematically, I think the buzzsaws, this sounds weird, but I think the buzzsaws are actually a little bit better than the flails on the Mortifiers.
Into what?
So they are, in many cases, almost identical, but against toughness 8, they do a lot better. The downside is that they're 2 damage, and so if you're looking at going into stuff with like Duty Eternal, for example, the flails become a lot better because they're not half damage. Garback in the chat, how's it going? Thanks for joining us. We also, moving over to Dutz' list here. This is two detachments. It's a Vanguard detachment coming out of Order of the Bloody Rose with Brazier Canoness, I think just to fill up that HQ slot. 3 units of 9 Sisters Repentia, a Zephyrim squad with 8 Zephyrim, who I believe are going to be in Deep Strike. Yep. Oh no, they're deployed on the table. Just kidding. They're on Objective 3. Interesting. And then we also have 2 Seraphim squads, one with 4 Inferno pistols, one with 4 Hand Flamers, obviously on two ladies with 2 pistols each. And then 3 Rhinos to keep those Repentia in. We also have an Order of Our Martyred Lady battalion with 3 units of Battle Sisters, Junith, Eruita, a missionary with a shotgun, interestingly, love that, and as well as those 3 Retributor squads, all of whom have 4 multi-meltas, all of whom have one of whom has a hand flamer on the superior, all of whom have 2 Armorium Cherubs, one of them has a Simulacrum.
Typically, I would say in an immediate peace trade scenario like this, it's good to not deep strike at all.
Mm-hmm.
Like having the backline threat off the Seraphim is valuable, but being able to just completely overwhelm your opponent on that first turn when you're initiating all these trades, and then you punch for 10%, they can only punch back for 8%, and like that's how you typically win these sorts of trades. And being able to just like immediately overwhelm in that way is one of the surest fire ways of like pulling off a victory even from second turn. So I think it's a good idea to have kept at least one Zephyrim squad in the back, although it may not matter as much given the fact that Rentar's moved to both the flanks instead of pushing right down the middle.
Valdor pointing out in chat as well, Mortifier flails are better into single wound infantry, which is also a good point.
I was like that's drastically better against, say, orc stat lines. It always comes back to orcs or nurglings for me.
Yeah, right now it's I think toughness 3 single wound infantry. If you're fighting single wound infantry, it's most often toughness 3, and having the strength 6 on the flail is really good. That gets you to landing on 2s. And then the AP doesn't matter a lot of times because right now sort of the big boogeymen in the meta are Harlequins, and you don't care about AP against them.
Oh yeah, no outside of Tyranids, no horde army cares about AP values. Like orcs, either just don't care, or they'll be on Death Skulls, which is a 6-up invuln. Like that 6-up save is not a thing they're used to taking anyway. All the demons are sitting on a 5+, Harlequins are sitting on a 4+. Like there's AP doesn't do a lot against such armies. Although I guess against Tyranids it's quite good.
Yeah, but once you need to get to AP3, I think. Just saying an AP2.
Too much. That flail will butcher a gaunt carpet, but certainly, yeah, it'll bounce. Will it bounce off warriors? I feel like that would actually do pretty well into warriors. They do quite well.
Yeah, maybe. They ignore the AP.
They only have 4+ save.
AP1.
Winning on 3s.
Or AP2, excuse me.
Is that 15 attacks, 10 hits, 6 third wounds? No, he kills like 1 warrior on the charge. Never mind. That's not great. Warriors are so good. As long as you pour all of your CP and warlord traits into them. And psychic powers.
I don't know if I'm willing to say, now that I've like sort of mathed it out, Valdor, I don't know if I'm willing to say always take flails, but I think it is meta dependent. I actually think the Buzzblades are pretty interesting. If you have to fight, if you have to open cans.
I mean, that's sort of going to depend on the rest of the Sisters army. Like, Sisters do not typically have a lot of trouble with at least a medium amount of T8 armor, right? Because they sleep with like Meltaguns under their pillows.
Yeah, that is what Sisters Repentia are for.
Second set.
It is interesting because I do think the 2 units complement each other pretty well, because the Mortifiers are good with the flails are pretty good at killing those high model cat infantry, and Repentia with +1 to wound are also good at killing vehicles.
Yeah. Repentia also tend to suffer pretty greatly if they're charging into something that, like, say, reduces attacks or reduces weapon skill, whereas the Mortifiers won't suffer from that. Like, Repentia do not do well into Slanesh. Mortifiers would do just fine.
Well,
like, -1 attack.
You lose 3 attacks, essentially, for each one. Ooh, here we see these heavy bolters coming out. We're ripping an entire unit of Battle Sisters off the table from these Mortifiers. Ooh.
Goes through.
Nope.
And then
shot the Rhino.
The last squad, everything into the Rhino.
Okay.
Yeah, I think honestly the icing on the cake for these Mortifiers is just that sort of constant of fire hose of damage they can just put out. Like, it's not an immense amount of firepower, but it's enough that your opponent has to respect it. And that's outside of like the Exorcist builds, which we are not really seeing anymore. That's not really something that Sororitas do super often.
In the flowchart of target priority, when fighting a Sisters army that has like 30 Repentia, they're also like 3rd tier. You have to shoot the Rhinos, then you have to shoot the Repentia, then you can shoot the Mortifiers. But by then they've net back significant value.
What do we need to do today? We need to go there.
They're not a convenient target.
Just do that.
It's hard to grind them down against Mortifiers, whereas just like a random squad of 5 Sisters, you can bump that off the board pretty easily.
Yeah, the Mortifiers definitely present
real quick,
not only a different stat line to the rest of the army, so that
it does
to make your opponent's target priority a little bit more difficult, but also just a more resilient threat. Like Repentia, you can just accidentally lose Repentia squads, and a lot of times if a Repentia squad, if the Rhino gets popped or they have to dump out of the Rhino, and then they lose like 3 or 4 models, a lot of times that Repentia squad isn't really doing much that game, because you don't want to spend the resources to get them to do what you need them to. Whereas the Mortifiers, like, they're not super resilient, but they're resilient enough that your opponent, doesn't sort of casually destroy them.
I reserve the right to boo at your Rhino.
How many points is a Mortifier?
Can reserve the right to do the same.
They're 60 points with all their weapons.
It's only fair.
Not a lot. Wow.
Right,
I was expecting a little more.
They're relatively efficient.
Jeez. Yeah.
Yucky. All right. 7.
Take your CP.
Yeah. Thank you.
Alright.
How many points is a multi-melta attack bike?
Okay, blue will come out.
55, I want to say.
Huh.
11, 12.
There's 60 points.
That's gonna do that.
A Killacan is like 60 points now.
Those bastions of the competitive meta that kill a king.
Oh yeah, you know.
I think green just wants to back up a tad.
Imagine if a
Imagine if a
Gilligan hit 50
Do that.
attacks. Yeah.
Well, it would still not do 12 because it also hits on 5s in close combat. But imagine if
It's gonna be
it had 6 heavy bolter
out.
shots,
That's going to be in. So
which
we
also
also-
hit on 3s.
Another benefit that you can apply to the Mortifiers, despite them not having an order keyword, is some of these sort of generic Sororitas abilities. So Celestine's +1 and Vulnerable Save Aura will affect them. They also don't have Miracle Dice or Shield of Faith, so they don't innately get an Invulnerable Save. But Celestine's
Only
roll will
reasons-
give them a 6+.
The only reason these spells had to die was because you took Raise Savannahs.
yeah, that was a good point. That was a good move. Because that's what they were doing.
Yeah, some good
All right.
observations from the players here.
There's no reason to get
Rentar
stupid
sort of
with this. I
overcommitted
just
on
need one
this
site.
Sororitas unit on this bottom area here because Dutes has raised the banners as one of his secondary objectives.
Good.
So with those 3 Battle Sister squads, he's going to be able to put banners on all 3 of these objectives. And if he can hold those for the entire game, it's difficult, but it's not impossible, that will max that secondary.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a big if for Objective 5.
Yeah, for sure. Especially, now that there's no sort of random
And what
infantry
is
squad there.
Purple
Yeah.
is...
Is there still a Repentia squad inside of that?
Yeah.
So that squad's going to have to leave, leaving a Rhino with 3 wounds. Like, they wouldn't even be able to put the banner down this turn.
I mean, you could like bail out the Repentia and put the banner down, but that's
red
certainly
could
not what you want to be
probably
doing
do
with your
that.
Repentia
So red
squad.
No, they get hit by these
Yeah.
It would get hit by these Mortifiers, and we would all be pretty mortified.
This is gonna be.
At
I
that
think this is gonna be
stable
a
state.
bloody game. Holy crap! I think we're just
Yeah.
gonna.
It's gonna be a fast game.
Yeah. Whoa. I mean, one thing I like about Rentar's list is how incredibly aggressive it is. You know, going first if your opponent can't deal with this
And then
just
they will
absolute
miss.
onslaught of aggression immediately, you just get run over by an
think it's go 11.
unending tide of sisters about.
Oh, shit.
So is it bad to go first in this game?
Damn it.
No.
To be the person who has to push the Rhinos out to then get hit?
Already fucked up.
'Cause it feels like Dudes is about to connect with 3 Repentia squads at the same time,
Unfortunately,
and also fire 2 Retributor units at like relatively soft targets.
I think that's pretty good for Rentar though, because we're starting on the first turn. We have plenty of CP to
let's
spend.
see.
We got a lot of interrupts available, so these Repentia squads get to connect to
yeah,
something and
that's
then
true.
probably die.
Yeah.
Although I guess you can potentially you can send one in over here and kill these Mortifiers on the right hand side, and then the blue unit can go in on both the Rhinos and kill those Rhinos. But it's not killing any
Where's it
Repentia.
going?
Yes.
What's happening?
Because I don't know if you know this, but you can't actually use a stratagem
Are they going to
twice.
use On Wings of
Same
Fire
phase.
or something? Why are they going back there?
Interesting piece of tech there for you.
Is
I
this
wonder if that
kind
was
of...
maybe a little bit of a misplay from Dudes there. It said he was realizing he had been mathing out advance and charge on
Okay.
both of the
No, as
Repentia
in,
units, but
you
you
had
can only...
5
only do
plus
one of them.
6.9 is... Yeah, 12.
Oh, yeah.
But I do think, to your
Maybe
question, Shuma, I do think that going first is a pretty big deal in this game because of the aggression of these lists and the fact that just Repentia can just project this extreme damage output at this extreme threat range, and the sooner they get to go in the game, the farther they can push that. And
But not that well into other sisters lists, because all they end up impacting is other Rhinos,
Yeah, it's fine.
and then they just die. Like, it's just an interesting foible of this one particular matchup where if you catapult them 30 inches up, most likely they're gonna plunk onto a Rhino, because the other opponents, everything else they have is just gonna be an inch behind a wall, as was the case here. They might have been able to slink over to Objective 5 here, but that was effectively the only thing they could do, and that might have been just out of their threat range.
But I think because we do have a sort of a little bit of a ranged game on the side of the Mortifiers for Rentar, they're able to put out a lot of anti-infantry damage at long range.
Yeah.
If you're able to pick off those Rhinos, that does expose the Repentia to a counterattack, especially if you can force them out of cover. But even
it also
then, they
means
they lose a lot of their
means-
threat range
yeah.
if they end up being exposed. Looks like we're gonna maybe dropping a banner on objective 5 with the Zephyrum.
That'll do it. It also means you're moving up, which means the Retributors who come out from behind their cover suddenly have range, because that is their downside. So they can't natively fire into the opponent's deployment zone
They
very
can.
easily, but if
they-
you just move...
they can get plus 12 inches range.
Only one of them, though, right?
Yeah, I think it's a stratagem, if I remember correctly.
Okay, move. Okay, so
But we'll
red,
see.
blue, and orange.
We'll see how this
all
turn
with
goes.
raised banners.
I feel like this turn looks like it is going to hurt.
Yes. All right, we bannered everything.
The red
Psychic
The red bricks are down.
Avalanche.
We
Making
got
a
bricks.
house.
We got bricks on both sides. So we got the blue bricks on
Oh,
Reintar's
yeah.
side, red bricks on
Dudes.
Dudes' side. Every
Yeah,
objective
we're
has
just
been
not doing
bannered.
anything right now.
I'm a little worried about how exposed
Right? Just Starfire?
Yeah, just terrify. Just one.
some of
These
the
Armorium cherubs are.
yeah, it's four Armorium. I mean,
With a Storm
they're
Bolter.
going to be exposed enough to be dead pretty soon.
See back there.
But
Just Storm Bolter.
some of the units in Dudes' army are a little bit out in the open here. We have the unit of Repentia, who are just chilling in the middle, and if those Mortifiers don't go down, which I don't expect them to, especially with those rolls, oh boy, then they can just turn heavy bolters into this red Repentia unit and
Red
Yeah.
just take it off the table
That is-
for no
Can shoot bricks.
without
I
losing
mean,
anything.
what are Dude's Faith dice looking like? Pretty bad.
Taking on fives.
Yeah, Miracles for Dukes, we have a 2 and a 4. Miracles for Rentar, we have also bad 2 2s and a 4.
I got to imagine between like 15
Okay.
Retributors, though. Like, one of these
Alright,
Mortifier
so
squads
let's
is just
start
going to
with-
go away.
Yellow. Yellow is gonna
One is not enough,
put
though.
everything into.
Surprised the Repentia just didn't get back into the Rhino, because can't you get out and then just get right back in with the units movement?
So I'm gonna hit you.
I don't know off the top of my head. I mean, he's probably worried that Rhino's almost dead anyway. So, like, what would probably happen is that one unit of Mortifiers just kills it randomly with their bolters anyway, and then get to shoot their.
Yeah, that's still
Repentia
better than
instead.
taking 18 shots on the Repentia from that same unit.
Yeah.
And I'll roll another one for you. Is 4.
Yeah, you also have smoke launchers available still too.
Imagine this one squad's just about to blow up both of these Rhinos. And
And the last damage.
it'll just let out the Repentia. This Repentia, first Repentia matchups are kind of like a nuclear explosion, where like one atom hits the next atom and it splits and it lets off 2, and then they go and hit 2 and they split. By the end of it, there's just nothing left. Just heat and energy.
Go through. So I guess I can just roll these both. 4 or 7.
Did they FAQ that, Luke? I've never seen it, but I also have not been following that far or following
Yeah.
it too intently.
Okay, and I'll use their other cherub, and they'll go into the Rhino. So
It looks like we just
hitting
pulled
with
the
force.
Mortifiers on the right-hand
Nothing.
side off with those Retributors.
Yep.
Those 2 Retributor units.
Okay, purple.
See, this
gonna
is
put
what I
everything
was
into the Rhino.
afeared of. Like, the Mortifiers have a significant range advantage over them, but if they want to use their chop chops,
Hitting on
they have to get
fours.
range of
A little under
the
average
Retributor
there.
shoot
Hitting on
shoots,
threes.
and they lose that fight.
Okay,
Good
just
old
two.
chop chops in the shoot shoots.
Damage is 9.
This is so much more of
What?
a considerate matchup, or you're just 2 cruise missiles hitting each other in space.
Milta. We'll go
Like,
ahead and pop one more cherub.
Like, you could
Put it into
just
the
back
same
deploy the Mortifiers to try and use their full firing
ring. Reroll the
all
ones.
game to keep them out of range of
Three.
Retributors, because Retributors are like their only real
23.
threat here.
I think you have to present the,
But-
Mortifiers as
Sure.
a peace trade unit.
Yeah,
Like, I don't think you can afford to leave those
are
foils
just
in
for
the
the
back.
Retributors.
yeah, because otherwise you start losing your Repentia at a higher rate.
Oh, you have one more cherub, right?
Yeah, one more from purple.
Oh, so you can't shoot it anymore.
I guess they'd be more like slaps on the flails than chop chops.
White can still see.
Whips.
Yeah, I'll just take it.
Yeah.
Let it go. No.
I probably would have just like run the Triumph of St. Catherine right up to and
No
started
one
trying to
dies.
use her in the peace trade because she is
I wonder
not
if there was
vulnerable.
I wonder if there was just a real estate issue because it's not a super fast unit, so it only moves 6 inches a turn. It could potentially have had an issue getting all the way across the wall here with all the other stuff that was deployed there. But I mean the Triumph of St. Catherine is a pretty decent late game piece, especially against other sisters.
So
it just has like a bunch of bolt pistols and a bunch of melee attacks. It's pretty good at killing Repentia if you need it.
Also, just says 18 wounds on a 4-up inbound, so it's not a good target for Retributors. Yeah. Especially if you have like Faith Dice to spend and a CP reroll. This thing can just tank all day.
And is -1 to be hit.
Yeah, too.
So here comes one unit of Repentia, and it looks like the Canoness and Repentia Superior on this side. Not a lot that's really going to threaten them over here, fortunately. So I think that they will get to punch in next turn, but that Rhino's going to be taken out.
Okay.
Now, interestingly, there's no objective secured on Objective 5 now that Battle Sister unit that was there is dead. So I think it's
Papa Cherub
probably pretty reliable for.
Wait, I thought purple fired first.
For Rentar to go in with that unit and control that objective. She only needs to put 4 models on that.
If you want
to, would that be the target though? I feel like your threat projection is coming out of these Repentia, and the Repentia have to splash right into these Retributors.
Well, I think
and
they
try
can
and
do
take out
both.
all 3 squads.
I think they can do both probably.
Yeah.
Because that like you can hit
so
the purple and yellow squad. And then use your consolidates towards the Zephyrim to put enough models on the objective to break that. And Overrun is a hold 2 for 5 points objective, so you could potentially drop a lot of primary objective points off dudes, which is going to be hard to recover from.
7.
You'd have to put 5 models on, I guess 4 models on 5 to contest and knock off the banner.
Alright, then I'll just pop the one.
There's an Armorium Cherub pops to kill 1 Repentia. There you go. you get the Repentia kills where you can get them.
White
I mean, that purple
is
unit
going
is about to get
to
murdered. So
fire. Before they do, I'll spend 2 so they get 12 inches to their range and 1 more damage.
Yep.
We're going to put 3 of them into...
This is Storm of Retribution going down on the white squad, and we're going to be trying to take out a Mortifier unit
3
here.
that are in Melta.
Interesting that we're aiming at the maybe aiming at the unit in dense cover because they're -1 to be hit, whereas the other one will receive less damage.
3 in Morts 2, we'll put 1 into Morts 3.
Okay, it looks like we're gonna split.
So into Morts 2.
Take the ones in Melta range.
They're all force. They're all on dense.
Are they all? Okay.
Yep.
The ones in Melta range on the ones in dense cover, and then the ones that are out of Melta range on the ones that are easier to hit anyway. So some pretty efficient.
Okay, so we roll once.
Or target priority.
Wounding on 3s. 2.
6 up inbound for Celestine.
Yep. Okay, so this is in Melta range.
Why do you think these sisters are fighting each other? They've been just possessed by Khorne here, or do they both think the other has been possessed by Khorne?
It's a fight over whether multi-meltas are better than Whippy Flails.
1. I'm going to CP that one. So go down to 4. For another 6.
D6 plus 3 damage on these Retributor multi-meltas.
And then I had 1 going into Anchorite, or Morts 3.
Disgusting.
They are not this one, right? Yeah. Alright.
See, this is why you don't need the Buzz. You just use the slap, because you sisters have an easy enough time killing vehicles.
Well,
you don't have the Mortifiers and
it's a Mortifier. Like they're not resilient vehicles. You know, this isn't like a toughness 8 thing with an invulnerable save or whatever. It's a lot different. Mortifiers,
we'll pop their first Cherub.
They're sort of a boatload of wounds, but
guy
they're not that resilient against anti-tank shooting. Ooh!
I don't know what you're talking about. These things are maintaining. These things are holding on.
The other Cherub.
Do they explode?
No, they explode in melee against opponents only, which is interesting. On a 4+, they hit you for D3s if you kill them within range.
Gillicans explode and hurt their own squad.
Yeah, I know.
I'm aware.
And also run away and because of their like leadership of like 6.
Yeah, you can
do I steal your
potentially take
CP?
units of 4 of them and of Mortifiers, so you could potentially run away with.
All right.
If you lose 3 in one turn.
You can take a unit of
It's a
6
little lackluster
Killikans
right now.
and guarantee that you have
So-
a model in leadership.
Shot. Yep, we'll go to charges. Spending 1, so
Yep.
blue.
Here we
So-
go, charge phase.
Yeah,
Important
so
phase.
this is interesting. We have
Blue Rhino
mostly
is going to go to Rhino
unmolested
1.
unit of Repentia over here on the right-hand side, ready to go in and wipe out some of these Retributors.
So that's a 9.
And
So I'll spend.
we don't really
So
have
we'll go 3.5.
any way to kill the Repentia inside the Rhinos on the left-hand
rotate
side, so
for
they're going to be
3.
able to kind of come and do whatever they want.
And then go another 2.5.
I mean, I assume that one or both of these Rhinos
Then
gets
blue
killed,
Repentia
but
are going
the
to
Repentia
charge
inside are
both
going to be...
Rhinos.
At least they may be locked in to fighting those
That's
blue
freeze through
Repentia,
this
but they're
gap.
not going to
It's
be...
less than an inch.
Okay, so
they're
Yeah, if the
not-
Repentia get a good enough spread here, they can completely cut off the Repentia that will pop out of that Rhino from being able to move down this entire flank,
Yeah.
forcing them to go towards the middle,
could,
but there won't be
just 'cause
anything in the
your-
middle
your
because the
base is under there.
Repentia on the other side would have
like the Rhino
already
threads are weird.
cleared those.
But I think I
And
know
you
what
can
you're
also only
trying to
advance
do
and
there.
charge in max, like, Miracle Dice one of their charges, so you're still, like, one of these squads is probably stranded, because you're also just going to shoot these Repentia anyway over here.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah. I wonder
So
if you.
it's not a bad way to chuff them up,
I wonder if you. Yeah, honestly, like you could just
Mm-hmm.
run the Repentia like behind the obscuring terrain, the obscuring craters
Yeah,
here.
that's not gonna
If you can block off the back of the table edge so that those Seraphim coming out
I
don't
think
kill
that's
you,
all I can do.
you can just
So
hang
we'll
out those
start with the,
Repentia in
blue
that
Repentia.
on objective 2 for a
I'm gonna
bit.
put,
And there's not really much that's threatening them.
We'll put 5 of them into
Repentia not move like
Rhino
Repentia are kind of
2
like
and
sharks
4 of
though,
them
where if they
into
don't
Rhino
swim,
1.
their gills don't get enough blood going over them, and they just like
1 for
suffocate.
+1 to wound.
So I don't think they can go backwards
So
and hold an
it'll be
objective.
15 into.
They can't swim backwards.
They just
Trevi.
have
That's
they have that like
it's not a thing they know how to
They
do.
should have that blood clause rule where they
No,
they are
force
forced
rule.
to declare a charge if there's a
Yeah.
unit within 12.
Yeah, and they cannot.
Oof.
Can they perform actions?
Alright.
They should not be able to
Bonus
perform
point.
actions.
It's because it's an old codex. I don't
Moving on
think
to
that they have that
Oh yeah,
that-
yeah, that makes sense.
those rules. Also, that
Alright,
was a
just
terrible roll from Dudes' Repentia.
Oh,
Oh,
4 damage.
Oof.
Oh,
All right, 4
Well.
on the other one.
oh no.
well,
Should be 12.
is that oh no?
Yeah,
If he
maybe
kills
you can
this
get a
one, he gets a
wrap on
wrap
it.
on the
a
Rhino.
lot
Yeah.
better.
Yeah, they're a little bit angrier on this side.
This
I
one's
mean,
gonna die.
Rentar does have 10 CP, so that's an easy emergency disembark.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, these rolls are terrible though.
Wow.
Why didn't we +1 to wound those ladies?
Oh,
Oh no.
Can't kill a rhino.
Might be because they're down to 2 CP already.
Would you like
Yeah,
to
that's true.
interrupt? Probably not.
I don't
That
even-
Vanguard detachment cost the Dudes.
All right, blue rhino.
Does it matter that these rhinos did or did not die?
It
If
does.
anything, the Repentia that are coming out of these rhinos are going to have an
Okay,
even
rhinos
harder
are
time
gonna
going
put
anywhere now.
everything into
Like, they can't even
Repentia.
charge these Repentia.
You're gonna kill half of them.
This is going to be... Because the rhinos have to leave combat to create the physical space for those other Repentia to charge these ones, and the rhinos are blocking the fire. Like, you can't easily shoot at them.
Yeah.
Like, the rhinos have to leave combat to shoot at them.
Nothing.
But it can't move unless they get out first, and if they get out first, they're not charging the Repentia.
So,
Chad,
just
how
think
come- Might have
been the
we're gonna
best
get a miracle
possible
for
result.
How come
killing the
Repentia
fighter
can't do
in
that
the,
when I
shooting
play
phase?
against them? Just totally whiff and not do anything.
Didn't
That's
kill
what they always
anything in
do
the fight
against
phase.
Did a total of 10 damage
And
against Rhino stat lines with a full
You got
unit of
some morale,
Repentia.
I guess, if you want.
Just play either
No.
armies that give them -2
Just
attacks,
other
or armies that give them, like,
Repentia.
stacked negative modifiers to hit.
No consolidate
Miracle.
from these Repentia from Dudes. I wonder if that was a mistake.
Oh,
All right.
'Cause you
probably,
could-
because you could definitely
That's
consolidate
gonna
fully
be
out
it
of line
for
of
me. I'll
sight.
pass it over.
or you can
Okay.
consolidate to pin the treads on
Scoring
this
is
Rhino, so it has to emergency
Holding
disembark.
2, not holding more. 3
Yeah.
Cabanas.
2,
Yeah.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Start of round is turn miracles. Both 3s.
Mhm.
If the Rhino emergency
my battle
disembarks, can it
round
go
is a-
through the Repentia and out the
another
other
2?
side and onto objective 1? It can, right? You ignore the...
Rhino.
Squad.
Yes.
Fallen
Versus,
Rhino, and
efficient.
then the 6-1 Rhino. Fallen Rhino does not heal. 6-1 Rhino does not.
That's some nice tech. Just-
Um,
Blast right through a
fire away.
screen.
So everybody, I'm just going to turn off my overlay here so I don't Stop getting these notifications.
Arsis.
All better.
Oh, you're right, Luke.
Did you
That
get
was
your,
that was an
CPU
8th edition
by the way?
thing, where I was like tanking repension down to hitting on 6s.
So put you at 11.
Although if they net to 2, then the +1 they receive still goes back to netting to -1, and they end up hitting on 4s at least instead of 3s.
They don't get a +1 to hit, right?
Don't they from the order?
No, they get a +1
One
AP
and-
and attack.
Oh, but they had some methodology
missile
that they
at
got.
dawn.
They get +1 to wound from the strat,
to hit.
and then they
11.
reroll. They reroll all the hit rolls all the time.
Okay.
1.
Now we do have a unit of Seraphim in Deep Strike for Rentar. Do you think that comes down
And
this
Catherine
turn?
will advance.
I think it needs to.
Going 9.
Oh, here they come. Here comes the Triumph.
There it goes.
9.
Oh boy.
Getting into
What if the
cover.
Triumph
Very important
and
against
Judith just
Delta.
end up having this like 7-turn slap fight on the table?
Hope so. I think the Triumph super duper
Uh,
wins that, right? Because it has like 18 attacks and 2 damage weapons.
You leave those.
Yeah, but a lot of them are really only like some of them are 2 damage, right?
No.
And then like the rest are just using power swords.
Oh yeah, I think you might be right.
They're all like strength 5, but Junith is toughness.
At its top
I think
profile,
it's toughness 4.
It is.
Oh.
It is a cool. It is a cool 14 attacks. It makes 4
Why is
with the
Judith
2
toughness
damage
4?
weapon, and it makes the rest
So
with
she can move
strength
back a bit,
5,
too.
1 damage.
Right.
Why is she toughness 4? Because her car is dumb. That's why. Not a very good car.
If she was riding one of those Mechanicus horses, she would have been like toughness 7 or something. Like 18 wounds. I hope the Mechanicus Codex ends up with like a chariot unit.
Yeah, like the Repentia, they always double the number of attacks they make
Exactly enough to interrupt.
because of passion. They'll be like, all right, I'm making 24 attacks at you. I hit 54 times. And you're like, how does that even work? And they're like, I don't know.
Back a bit.
It's
They're
just
all
my faith in the
protective.
Emperor is so strong.
Go with smokes.
All right, are we gonna fall these rhinos back? I wonder if we're just angling to kill these Repentia with bolters and keep
It could have pinned
Rentar's
both
Repentia.
rhinos actually.
Yeah, with the blue rhino potentially
Yeah.
getting up in there. Yeah. I think that you are not
What
wrong.
what a sick play that would have been.
Yeah, just pin a bunch of rhinos in.
That. No, we can't roll watching it. Alright, that's true. Okay.
Yeah, there they go. Goodbye.
So you think in the next Mechanicus Codex that they're gonna
Retail
have
will pop out.
like a chariot unit pulled by those mechanical horses?
100%. It's gonna be an onager dune crawler with
Yeah.
wheels pulled by horses.
Times like this, I miss my missionary.
And there's gonna be
That looks
like
so much better than the actual Doomcrawler.
there's gonna be a guy with a big greatcoat
What
and
is that?
Skitari legs, and he's gonna have like a
missionary
whip,
gets grenades.
like an old timey card driver.
He gets what?
Or like coach driver.
No, you
You
should
just don't get grenades.
you should just have that like cross
grenade,
of
yeah.
like leather that they always give those dudes
Man,
in place of a
shotguns,
shirt.
which are, like extreme
Just-
cool
Just to like
points.
be like thematic. Like all the Mechanicus do is
yeah,
just
you
make
get cool points, nothing
like
else.
dioramas of historical scenes with all their technology. Like it's why they have cowboys now, but it's gonna be like the Hittites or something next year.
Yeah, they do have a lot of like sort of Greek stuff, huh? They have hoplites and all that.
Yeah, they have Greek people and they have cowboys. They have what is going on? Why here? What's happening? Can we? I guess this is scalable, and they do have like an infinite charge distance, so they'll make it.
We also
These
may be
ones
just
are
trying
just back there and walk over
to
the
touch
side.
these Repentia with a couple models because
Yeah,
we're
it's
assuming the bolters are going to kill some of them, and then you can just
Magnifier.
chop them up and stay relatively out of line of sight.
Oh,
I guess or we just like the
Which
rhino
has-
just leaves, and then it's no longer in the way.
important to have on this character.
Yeah, also that.
Oh,
You
It's gonna
lose
have like
those-
emergency
with you that
disembark
it's
You lose
unnecessary.
forward
those
though.
sweet for.
Sorry, I agree with you. That's unnecessary,
bolter
but
shots.
it's very nice to have.
Yeah, in certain situations, it is pretty good.
3 and.
Did you ever miss vehicles moving kind of like flyers do now, where they can only go to forward
that's
or
fine.
backwards. They had to like turn.
No. It's like so
Well,
difficult to
my
coach
Seraphim
without a tool.
Yeah.
Like it's doing
Like, it's weird
doing
that-
it. It's more realistic, but doing it like correctly is so tough.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah, they always needed bases with like arrows on them and such.
And you foolishly did not smoke that, right?
It's weird that they maintained that rule
I was
on the
saving
planes.
Uh-oh.
it for something.
Where are we going
supposedly.
over
Is
here?
this Rhino gonna get killed by Inferno pistols, and then we just lose another unit of Repentia by accident? Ooh. Oh no.
I mean, I don't know how you'd lose the unit. Like the Rhino would die, but I mean, they're just gonna dump out on the side behind the ruin and then be
If you kill
invisible.
this Rhino with Seraphim, it'll be the greatest thing a Rhino or a Seraphim have ever done.
You also, I mean, they have
I'd
to.
say you
It
kill the
depends on
sisters
where they
instead,
can.
right?
So, Superior is
Place.
within 12 of those.
Like, you kill the sisters so that they can't, so that they're just not on the objective at the start of the turn, and then they're, if they want to hold this objective, they either have to put this, Repentia there, or keep
Yeah,
the
that
Rhino
might be
alive
the play.
somehow.
Yeah, I think you're right. Actually, that's probably the play.
So this one
You just totally
Should
nuke
be-
Dudes'
should be within 12
score.
of 4
Score
of
0
them.
primary on turn
So
2.
it should be within 12 of 3.
Yeah,
to come
especially
back
with
from.
what to happen. Like, all these Retributors are about to be dead. Like, all that will be left over here is this one Repentia squad, which, if it turns around to kill these Seraphim, is then super out of place and just gets shot.
Spend 1 CP,
Or if it charges forward,
Um,
you just have the
roll,
Rhino
steal
holding
it.
objective 1 by itself, and the Seraphim just kill it.
Nope.
Meltas into the Rhino.
Okay, so we are going to
Everything
shoot
else into the
Infernos
back.
into the Rhino and just
Battle
try to pick up the
Sisters.
Battle Sisters with the pistols and stuff.
Okay.
I probably would have focused him,
So the Meltas.
but this could slug up and work out.
2 hits. 2 ones.
Double
There you go.
sixes to wound.
Sixes.
No, that was double Fleur de Lis.
You're right. You're not
First
wrong.
one.
Could have moment of
5.
grace to one of those
Dare
fives
you.
into
Oh my gosh,
save.
you got it.
Oh, killed it. Whatever. Get out of here.
Do I
There you go.
I don't think I needed to say that the plasma was not overcharged against Battle Sisters.
Yeah, I know, totally.
The placement, the position of the Repentia
So
here
while
is a
you do
little
that,
bit
I'm just gonna
awkward, I
roll the
think.
attack. Plasma
Yes.
hit.
This position seems
Plasma
bad because you're just in
wounds.
full line of sight of these
And
mortifiers.
bolt pistols. 3 hits. And 2 wounds. So 1 plasma.
Someone needs to give the Space Marines
Okay,
this
plasma.
12-inch range Inferno pistol
Save it.
technology.
and
and 2.
2 minus
Because they're like slumming it with these plasma pistols.
It's called a
course.
melt-a-gun. It's called a
maybe.
melt-a-gun.
So I'll take this, check out. I got 10 occupants in this arena.
10.
Yeah,
So 10.
missionary.
Oh,
I'm gonna lose 1. I'll take this sister right there.
Yeah, I wonder if we were trying to avoid the double tap off the Seraphim
Okay.
on those
Uh,
Repentia, but this seems like a very dangerous
and-
place for them to stand.
end of phase.
Yeah.
I think Dude's maybe just hoping that there's not enough heavy bolters to kill all of his
Another
Repentia, and
2.
he might be right, but it still seems a little bit dangerous.
Yeah, well, it's a choice, right? He has to fire. He has to
can
choose to fire at either the
Anything with
Retributors
Repentia.
or the Repentia.
Okay.
Well, this Retributor's just getting
That's
charged.
shell shots.
Right. We're just gonna Miracle Dice
He's-
charges in there, and
No storm bolter.
He's already in the- It's already in the shooting phase, right? Like, you can only Miracle Dice one of these units. The
And 3.
Mortifiers probably aren't making it in. Neither Celestine.
Okay, 6s.
we have a triumph.
Well,
we have
that's
a
like a
triumph,
s-
so
that's
you
like a
can
s-
you can
oh,
activate
yeah.
it twice. Yeah.
Never
We'll
mind.
go right here.
Never mind.
Celestine into these Retributors.
You got it.
I'm a little upset that those Rhinos aren't going to get to
6.
shoot their Stormbolters at these Repentia.
You're obviously the heretics here.
like,
That'd be
it's
great
like-
if they just killed all of them just with the
Oh,
just
shit.
with the Stormbolter.
They're
Or
also
-1.
Bloody Rose
Alright,
Rhinos with passion, so they actually
No
like
one's behind
punch
the
pretty good.
So we got 3 out of 8.
And I'm just wanting these Rhinos to stay in melee and just kill the Repentia
I
squad.
lose 2. I could go down 1 more. Put you at a 9. I think I will. I'm gonna miracle 2, one of them, so they fail.
Okay.
And go
Ooh.
down.
Yeah, there you go.
Cool
That
move.
was
Cool move from Dudes there. Miracling his
Rhinos
saves
back.
with low
Yeah.
dice so that their models die
Come on.
and are harder to charge. I don't know.
Nobody announced the Cel. Like, I do not know why Celestine used the flamer
I
there.
was gonna
think
shoot.
I would have shot Celestine's Flamer there.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a big mistake, I think.
2 shots.
Flamers on melee units are a trap card that you play on yourself.
Yeah, I wonder if there was a position where Celestine could have
Yeah.
angled to draw line of sight to
One
these
wound.
Repentia, and then she could have shot them.
Goes through.
She may actually
goes
just
through.
have it right here. That might have been a mistake.
Preacher takes a shot. And
Yeah, so that
hits.
makes it
Amazing.
A
And
9-inch
wounds.
charge
Oh my
from the
God.
closest,
Fails and
Yeah.
Mortifier,
Fails.
and
Look at him
an
go.
11 from the farthest one.
Okay,
Like,
I'm honestly
Celestine can make it
flabbergasted.
herself, which will still be plenty to finish
These
the
are all
squad
gonna
off.
shoot These battle sisters.
Which,
Again.
I mean, I guess at the end of the day, that's what they were angling to do
Overcharging.
anyway. But
Bolt pistols, 3 hits.
just leave
wounds.
Celestine hanging out.
Repentia double tap
Plasma
just totally
hit.
whiffed on the Battle Sister unit there.
Ones.
goes through.
Killed one with the plasma pistol. Alright.
10-inch charge. Do that. Should probably just try it. Okay, so I got my Mortifiers left. Where do they want to go? Right, Mortifier
I almost wonder
2
if,
is gonna shoot at these Retributors.
You take the +1
Fire's
charge.
firing into. Really?
Right.
Into the Richmond? But that's the Celestine charge. I guess we're just not charging today.
Yeah, I think we're just
Okay.
shooting today. I mean,
Wound.
you'll probably kill the
guess if you
Retributors
shoot- Yeah.
with some random shooting.
Then you shoot the
I can't
Repentia
remember
enough
what
to defang them.
Yeah.
And if the Retributors are all dead, then the immediate threat to the Mortifiers
you
is
know
gone,
what?
and your center can hold.
Yeah, that's fine.
Mortifiers 3. 3 heavy bolters here.
Okay.
The other 3 heavy bolters are going into your Zephyr.
Okay.
So that's 9 shots at each squad.
So shooting the Zephyrim now.
Wait.
That's actually
One
kind of
area
inefficient
Zephyrim.
AP value to hit them with, because they do have a 4+ invulnerable save, so AP 1's kind of the sweet spot
No.
against them.
We'll aim at
You know what has a save of 7+ though is the
These
Repentia right behind
Repentia.
him though.
Okay.
so 9 shots into the Retributors who have almost nothing left. So 3.
Ugh. These
Okay.
heavy bolter
Sixes.
shots not doing a lot. Oh, they do wipe
no.
out exactly kill those
Those were
Retributors.
6s, but those were like 4s. But yes. That was into the
No, the
Retributors.
Oh,
Simulacrum.
Retributors. Gotcha.
I said the Retributors that have almost nothing left.
Sometimes I hear Repentia in my mind. Okay, so 2 are going to go through. So that'll kill those.
And then 9
I've
shots.
simulacrated your
Repentia.
last,
Mhm.
Retributors. No
There's
more
the
retribution
hits.
for you.
And
Do you think they were
threes.
simulacruming with that?
Okay, minus
One of-
this one.
Maybe they were
Yeah,
simulating how well
let
this
me grab
battle would
that,
go
sorry.
for them. And they realized that they went
There we go.
second, and that was pretty bad.
So these are the rolls.
So that's why it was a skull.
Okay. So 6s.
Yeah, that's the Imperial
What's wrong with
iconography,
this
the skull
box?
iconography. That's
Oh,
why
I
it's so
don't know.
prevalent, is because they know
So,
they're just going to lose
gonna
going
reroll my
second, so they're getting
successes
ready to
here.
die.
That's 3 down.
Alright. I think that's all my shooting. Did not kill anything.
This army needs a
You
little
got
bit
my,
of dreadnought.
my rets.
They don't get X up.
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't
yeah.
everyone?
Yeah.
Okay, so charges.
Yeah, interesting point there from the players' discussion. You don't get any faith dice for destroying enemy units in the shooting
that's
phase with
easy
the
one.
Mortifiers
Just
heavy
anchor
bolters
it
because
into
they don't have
these
active faith.
Repentia.
Okay.
Sort of a weird, anti
Are
synergy
you
from that unit.
are you spending any CP?
What a
Sorry.
mortifying
Oh, yeah.
interaction.
Sorry. Yeah, for these. Wait, no, for.
I'm
wait,
it
did I-
mortifies me.
Oh yeah, sorry, for my canoness. I was like, one of something advanced. I remember something advanced.
All right, let me see if I
don't know
steal.
what advanced, but
I do steal. Cool.
Judith needs to get out of here and start heavy
Uh,
flamering things.
then
Oh, the heavy flamer targets are going to come
use
to
your
her.
Repentia into both Melta squads.
She doesn't need to work for it.
Okay, interesting. I might do something.
Do you think
about
we'll see a
that.
Junith turn like we did in
Going here. Let's go there.
Jonathan and Ashley Thompson's game, where she just overwatches
go for
a
it.
Harlequin Troopmaster to death, like full to death.
Well, that was one of the things that I would have wanted to see, which would have been these Retributors forming a little bit of a bubble around Junith on the other side of this wall, so that Junith was a mandatory charge target, and thus was able to double 12-inch Overwatch Flamer these Repentia. Like, Repentia do not like charging Flamers. That is...
Yeah, that's
maybe the thing they like charging the least
any
among all things in this
Overwatch
galaxy.
is just horrific for them. So you mean you would have liked to see Junith placed outside of the, like, in front of the wall?
Yeah,
and then Becky will charge.
Exactly, on the other side.
Interesting. Yeah, I
Yeah,
can see
like
that.
in the middle, between the squads.
Because once the Retributors are dead, like, you don't really need her there.
No.
She's just
And
there
like
to
she's
kill
not a
some
target,
Repentia.
right? Because she's still being
Repentia squad 2
lookouts
is going to
or
charge your Repentia. 7.
Where can I get a cool cloak like this one Canoness?
Costume store.
No way. This is way too cool.
Renaissance fair.
It's got like little skulls. It's just skull flowers everywhere. Like
I don't think anyone else can declare. Oh, Seraphim into your sisters.
Okay.
Most people don't have my skill at rolling heavy flamer
What's that
overwatches,
roll?
so risking Junith is dangerous.
Okay.
I mean, in fairness, like once the Retributors are dead,
Don't
which
think
is
you have
going to
any
be very
heroic
soon.
interventions to
I do not.
I don't. Junith isn't really
So-
doing anything, right? She's just.
yeah.
She's just
stop.
there
Her,
as a-
she becomes a pair of heavy flamers at that point, so you
Right.
might as well get use of them.
Yeah, she becomes an
Repentia on
anti-Repentia tool.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it would have been better if she was that anti pench tool before the Retributors all died.
So, up, up, in.
So we did get everything in on the right-hand side on Objective 5. We'll see if we have the pile-in consolidate distance to
Squad
take
2
that
has
objective from
9,
dudes,
so
but I
that's
think
27 attacks.
if we do,
No,
which I think
36
is very
attacks.
likely, we may have.
Does it reach us there?
Creature. Yep.
It's like it's sort of a KO. Just totally
These Repentia.
remove their dudes to scoring on turn 1 and remove a banner, which is a lot of points, represents a lot of points over the course of the game. That said, the Zephyrim on this side are kind of
That he
uncontested. I'm not really sure what kills them
on
this game.
twos.
It's going to be interesting to find out.
These Repentia are about to get Retribution.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Junith is okay in melee for sure.
Okay.
I mean, she's still a cannon nest. She's like 4 attacks with 2 damage.
Interrupting.
No, I'm not.
But
Get
I
it
think the
there.
heavy
She has a
flamers
melee-
are really what she wants to be doing in this matchup.
In the
Does she
box.
have a
So
melee
3.
weapon?
I believe that she does.
There's not one
I
on this
honestly
thing.
completely forgot my Repentia Superior existed.
Oh no.
Becky will swing it.
Yeah,
Yellow,
Rentar left her Repentia Superior
Okay.
back there. Oops.
8 swings.
Yeah, so she has the Mace of Castigation, which is Strength 5,
Oh,
minus
hit.
1 for 2
2
damage.
explosions, wounding on 3s.
It's just, I think it's a battlescribe to TTS error. It's just
Rerolling for Righteous
not
Rage.
parsing the
10 saves.
stat line well.
Okay. Yeah. Oh wait. No. That's only 3. My bad.
You're on 3 up right now, right?
4 up.
4. Oh, I mean, yeah, sorry. You can't get a 3 up, what am I saying? Consolidate to here.
Mm-hmm.
Touching the Retributors.
Sounds good.
Swing here.
How much damage do you think this Righteous Rage Canoness tanks this coming turn?
Yeah.
All of the damage?
Zero damage.
She just
I don't think it gets it.
28 more to go.
I think it does not get attacked.
Maybe.
I think
like-
it's
that's
the
like tanking
least
infinite damage.
It's like the least vulnerable, least important thing over here to shoot at.
Ash, just give me 1 second if you want to pause. I'll be right back.
Sure.
I don't know, it's a pretty important unit, because she just makes 1 billion attacks, right? So, like, she's really good at just mopping up these sister squads.
Yeah, but I mean, like, what comes before it? It's each of these Repentia comes before it.
Well, you're gonna
I
kill
guess
the
maybe
Repentia.
you-
Like random stuff is gonna kill that
Right.
Repentia unit.
Uh,
Like the flamers on the Zephyr, or the guns
Junith.
on the Zephyr, and
so
like the Stormbolt are
Repentia,
gonna kill these Repentia.
21 swings, because there's 7 of them.
Junit's like
Mhm.
Professor X
All
chair,
of
just
the
like floats
purple.
over and finishes off the unit. And then
Yeah.
what? The Repentia hit this Canoness? Because
Yeah.
the Repentia aren't.
And then she makes
23
an
hits,
astronomical number of
22s.
4+ invulnerable saves, and then moments of grace herself out of danger,
Okay,
and then kills the
force.
entire
No.
Repentia unit.
No, she'll kill like
Good.
5 of them, and then on their like 4 up to 2 mortal wounds, they'll just like kill her.
We'll burn this for the swing back strat.
Yeah.
Right. And
Oh no, we have to go to the yellow
Consolidate.
unit with the
No,
Repentia. I wonder if you double swing with this
this one probably has to
Repentia
go that
unit here
direction. Yep.
for Rentar and
these
try for
ones,
the
4 point something, 2 point
contest
something,
on the objective. I guess not.
9,
Maybe we're just
3.7, 5,
gonna touch these Retributors.
fine.
I don't think you can
Yeah.
get on this objective without getting hit by Junith.
Yeah, I think we're
Ranges.
probably hoping for some more output from that Canoness, to be honest. She didn't do that much damage to the Retributors because they're invulnerable save.
Name stick.
Alright, I'll swing back real quick.
What's this Inquisitor gonna go inquisit some stuff too? He's just kind of like hanging out,
So it's
wearing his
gonna
like cool
be
coat.
He's stealing
3, 4
CP from
attacks.
Rentar right now. That's his job.
And I'm hitting on 3s because you killed some of the unit. One miss, one explodes, and then wounding on.
Is theft a
4s.
job?
Reroll the
Yes.
ones.
Why not?
2 wounds. On revenge.
I don't know.
of
It just
course.
seems like that's
Yep.
what you do when you don't have a job,
5 of you not in.
or you want to watch
One dice.
an HBO show.
Cool.
One Repentia dies to the
And
Retributors.
then I'll spend
Do
3
they bolt
CP and swing
pistols?
again.
They do. Oh, they're gonna
But I
die.
Thanks.
really need Retributors dead.
Sure.
You already got one this round.
Yeah, I don't know why I rolled that. I figured it out as soon as I rolled.
Is so basically one is stuck out, so that's 5 swings.
Sure.
So 15.
Do Sororitas rhinos have power sword attacks? Because this rhino has
Cool.
a power sword,
20 hits.
like it's like sheathed. Does it like pull the sword out and start hitting people with it?
Yes.
Go 4-ups.
Yeah, the Bloody Rose ones are AP1 with +1 attack and exploding 6s. So
Yeah.
they are.
Um,
They're
Like
at
the-
the very
like that-
least a regular sword.
that's my turn.
Like that, the
Oh.
door on the back opens up and a little crane pops out and picks up the sword and just like starts like swinging it around.
Yeah,
Drive me
the line.
closer.
Sure. I'm gonna get a couple of miracles. One, when you kill the Rets
So
in shooting, because they are Martyr Lady, and then here's the
that
one
was
for combat.
certainly a turn right there. Killed 1.5
Close turn.
Repentia squads. Did Rentar as well as all 3 Retributor
And
squads
then morale, so Red
And Rhino.
Sisters
and 1 Rhino
are good on
Half this
4
Battle Sister
Green
squad.
Repentia.
and some random battle sisters. Yeah, we also, I mean,
Let's
obviously,
see, lost 4, yeah,
big
they're
benefit of
good.
going first.
And
You get to set the
then
line of battle so
I
far
think that's
forward
it. Yeah.
that
Yeah.
we're now
I
fighting
got,
on Dutz's
I've got one to
objectives,
take
which means that
fish.
he's in danger of losing them at some point.
Phil lost 2, only lost 2.
Whereas
They're fine.
Them and
you
his
do have
army.
to go pretty
And over
far.
to you.
Yeah, you do have to go pretty far
So
to
you're
fight
up to
over
4 CP.
Rentar's objectives. That said, we do
So
have 2
10
units of
and
Seraphim
3.
coming in this turn
Oh, and I
potentially.
get 3 point gauge.
And I think we could see one of these Battle Sister squads on
Okay.
one of these back objectives just killed off. Or get some.
I fully expect Becky to die at the end of this
We
turn.
got a couple decent miracle dice. We have a
I
5,
hope so.
it looks
I'm
like.
gonna need it.
So we could potentially try to make a charge out of Deep Strike to try to kill some
Okay.
of these ladies.
That's kind of her job in this list, right?
And start
Lead-
taking
lead the
Rentar's
societal
objectives.
charge.
We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
the
100%.
Triumph left 4, so they could pick everything off of 6 and then just
I
hop
think
over
I'll
and pick
just
everything
move
off of 4,
here.
forcing quite a
Yeah,
bit to turn around.
yeah. There's nothing. I don't know what fights them.
Oh, you're right,
what contests
you're-
them if
like-
they go in the back?
Yeah.
It's just
Good
that
point.
the Triumph just has to turn around, but that'll take 2 turns at least.
Yeah,
It's not
so
very fast.
right over
Yeah.
Oh. I mean, you can Miracle Dice
Yep,
for a
and
12-inch
then I
move,
get a
but its
miracle
base
for
is
my
so large
turn.
that even with a 12-inch, it might not be able to make it back
Go
over
for your
this
turn.
wall.
Mhm.
I got a
6.
3.
I'm really surprised that we
Nice.
weren't able to get a contest
covered
on
that
that
6.
objective 5. I think it was just that the
Yeah, I mean-
Canoness kind of whiffed on those Retributors. So the Repentia had to go towards them.
Okay, so that can do that.
But it does feel like
I think
Maybe
honestly,
some
we might
lost
just
reads,
go nuts over here.
I mean, you would have had to have gotten 4 models on this. I don't think you could have anyway.
He's going in here.
with the Repentia going in, you could have, I think. So if they
That's-
could have fanned
that's
out and
4 out
put-
of 6 of the squad?
So these.
well, there were more at the start. They lost one. There were 7.
Either way, I think I die next turn, so I probably go for points.
If you could kill the purple Retributor unit that was
so we'll
here,
go 6 here.
and then go towards the Zephyrum,
They're going
I think
there.
You can do it. I mean, they're so far
Zephyrim
away because
are
they have
going
to double fight to
advance.
kill the
He's
other
a
unit.
Miracle 5.
Yeah.
That's, I wonder if Celestine's Flamer could have
Oops.
gone into them. I bet they could have. I think that Flamer shot was a really big mistake.
Oh, there's a superior.
Yes, I agree.
Let me do this like a smart person.
Like I said, I completely forgot about her.
Like Celestine
Yeah,
and
I
that Mortifier
forgot
both
she
could have
even
been
got out.
contesting objective 3 at this point themselves. They wouldn't have been able to take it, but they'd have been
well, there's
threatening everything over there.
Points
There's
behind
upside there.
Zachariah.
Yeah, I mean they would have taken it, but they're now there.
Yeah.
Like they're just something else that has to deal with, or that has to be dealt with.
He's
In
currently
which
one
case,
loss,
like the
one win,
repention
but
become
he's
harder
at
to deal with, and
181
Canonus
points.
becomes effectively untouchable.
Oh, okay. Okay, so that's gonna go there.
What do you think these
He's up
five
against
repention do?
Struggle,
They just
so
kill this
you
one
do have a
Mortifier
fair
and then
chance.
just get cut in twain by Celestine?
Yeah, I think so. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
no,
sort of-
Or just get Overwatched.
That's a low score.
Can we just Overwatch them? Yeah, we could.
well,
I don't
Oh,
like
if
any of
they
this.
declare
I think I
Celestine?
did
Celestine's
it.
Flamer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think this is going here.
It's like 5 hits, 5 wounds, you're dead. GG.
Yeah.
Was it
Brutal.
9?
It's like mirror. Just use your faith
Is
dice
that
to get the
Junior? She
6
she
shots.
sent- Yeah.
No,
What do you have for some faith dice over here?
she's fast.
Use the faith
Visitor.
dice.
Yeah, let's
There's
see.
1/6.
You may be able to
Power
engage
doesn't
the
matter really.
Yeah, you could.
the anchorite without
So we're gonna come
triggering the
here.
intervention. So maybe you don't have to.
Stay an inch
you don't
off this
even have
wall.
to declare
Yeah.
Celestine.
Well, let's see if that's the attempt, though. It might even be worth. Well, no, it wouldn't be worth going for Celestine because it just stands back up. But I feel like one Mortifier
use the
is
Pinch
just
Advance.
not a good thing to swing.
I mean, maybe
your
you just
with
go into
Repentia
the
into.
other Repentia.
Yeah, we'll leave them.
You
inch
just
off
Yeah.
try
the
to
wall.
kill him. You just have Repentia killing
Oh,
Repentia.
the
here.
3 sisters are just kind of just trying to do it over here.
I mean, they have a Stormbolter, right? Maybe not. No, I don't think so. But still, 6 or a frag grenade and a couple
Okay,
bolter
we're
shots. It's
going
like, I mean,
there.
it's gonna kill a couple of Repentia.
Becky's gonna hop
Yeah.
out.
Is Becky the
Yes,
community
we'll go her 6.
name for the Beneficence Canoness? Or is that just?
I've
Dudes?
never heard that.
3 up here.
But that might just be dudes.
All right.
Okay, preacher. What do you?
She doesn't look like a Becky. to me.
Singularity says
Preacher
it's
is
Becky.
going
So.
to
Chad has
He's
Chad has
about it.
spoken. Her name is
All
Becky.
right.
Oh, Becky is just the chainsword. So the canoness herself is just a vessel for Becky.
Missionary, you pay.
Why wouldn't you
5
call it
points,
Benny?
get
It's
the
called
grenades on it,
Beneficence.
And that shotgun. And
I guess
the
because it's
Morale Aura,
Beneficence Canoness, so Becky.
Mhm.
bunch of
I
stuff.
guess so.
He's a beefy boy.
But you lose
Okay,
the -1 leadership aura
Okay.
against chaos.
It's Becky and Benny, right?
Can we talk about the armor that Canoness is wearing and how
think
I
I
don't
need to start
that is like the
breaking some
poppedest
stuff.
collar I've ever
So
seen.
as much as I would like these
Oh,
to
yeah.
go into
Yeah, the
Repentia,
Canoness model is
that's a lost
wild.
cause.
For sure.
So we're gonna come back.
Like I want to know what it looks like without that like robe, because like where does that collar start and then end? Like what's going on?
That's way too close.
So I was playing Cyberpunk, right? And now I have this sweet body armor with like the big tactical collar that goes around, like the big
Do you keep-
bulletproof collar.
She just keeps Steven Seagaling people. Oh, you've got that like ballistics collar.
Yeah. And this is just that like pump to 11.
I want those like bomb defusal kit ballistics
Okay.
collars to just like make it into like high fashion, so I could just like
So I'll
walk
spend
around.
one
One
as looking
Right.
down so they can shoot.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Maybe
This
we
looks
get
so
that
sick.
if
we're gonna
if
put
mask fashion continues and it's just an integrated
Everything
mask.
from this volley.
In the early
It's gonna go
2010s,
officers.
like cyberpunk
Okay.
themed clothing
do
made it
6
into like
pistols.
runway fashion for like a year, and it was just like $5,000
Yeah,
jackets
you
that
need
actually
one of
had those
those.
collars, and like there was some light up
Ooh,
stuff.
I'm
It looks so
taking
sick.
Please,
Like
but-
there's still some of the
Oh, yeah,
refuse
both
from it
systems.
on like a lot of
They can
high
put
fashion
things.
sites, but at this point it's all like churned out. But there was like a hot second where
46.
like, the coolest people in the world looked like they were wearing like
16.
trash bags with like LEDs on them.
wounding on force.
It was great.
So we brought one
This
unit.
is what I
of-
want to see.
We brought one unit of Seraphim.
So,
it
8.
looks like. And trying to kill off the Sisters on Objective
Just one?
6.
They did.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't know.
Handflamer's got him.
I don't know that this is the time
do
to
we
hold
bring
back.
anything else down at this point.
Well, that was a
think
deadly
so. I think
descent,
we're
so
gonna
we're
chill for now, so
still
we'll go
deciding.
into psychic
Nope,
phase.
It looks like we're just gonna leave it there.
And we'll do.
You can only deadly
Inquisitors and
descent one of them
Smite.
at a time, so it sort of makes sense to stagger them.
It looks like it's gonna hit Repentia.
Aren't you happy?
Barely goes off. Or no,
Oh,
it doesn't, because you got an O-Rod. Yep.
I was gonna say.
Fortunately, these
Yeah,
other
you have
Zephyrin
these
did
as
not
fighting
manage to
the
move
cannon
onto
because
Objective
That
6
could be useless.
themselves.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, shooting. We'll go with Red Battle Sisters over here. We'll shoot.
And there's still enough of
Repentia.
the sisters on
2.
Objective that it's still being held.
So that'll be 6 shots, hitting on 2s because you killed some of them. And then I'm going to wound you on 3s. 2.
5 ups for Book and Magifier.
Yep.
And
Nice.
5 up Puma Pin. 1 dice.
Okay, he's not doing anything. They're not doing anything. They're not.
Did you want to move this Rhino, by the way?
It's okay. Well,
Like over the line?
yeah, no, yeah. Yeah, I guess you're right. Probably do it smart.
Ever check out this one preacher that's like behind this shipping
Okay,
container?
Inquisitor is going to shoot. He'll shoot Repentia 3 with
Mhm.
his hotshot las.
Like zoom in on him and just like look at how he's like trying to read the
hits,
back
so
of the
of
book,
course.
but he doesn't have his glasses on.
Oh,
6 and 5.
And it's like, maybe it's like too
Genie
sunny
is
out or
gonna
something.
Shoot the Repentia.
So
Yeah, he really
2
want to get that
flamers.
synopsis before he
Yeah.
picks it up from his Barnes and Noble.
Get
But he's
a
got to hold it up to the
7.
light.
Wounding on 3s. Reroll the 1s. 4, 6.
Whoa!
Oh, there you go. That
What?
was good.
Man.
That was a good reroll.
Ooh,
Rhino will shoot him.
that was Junith, right? Get out of here,
We
Junith.
hit you on 5s.
You get nothing. No heavy flamers wounds for you.
Nope, out of range. 1 wound.
Rhino did as much damage as Junie.
It's a hero Rhino over here.
Well, it makes sense that Rhino did as much as Junith. It is a like
Alright,
a 25 to 30 ton tank.
I think that is pretty much the extent of the shooting.
It's
She's
an
a lady in
APC.
one of
Double
those.
check. Oh, we got a Seraphim to go again.
Or
And we'll put everything into Battle Sisters 1 this time.
as long as they have treads.
So
I don't know, actually.
Bolt Pistolas. 5 dice. Counting is hard.
A tank has
wonder-
personnel and is armored and
I
carries
wonder
them.
what the
Threes
definition
and
of a tank is.
3s.
I bet I triggered someone in the chat super hard by
Mhm.
saying that. They're just gonna like, they're just like screaming. Like it's not a clip, it's a magazine, and it's an APC if it's
Roll
intended
16.
battlefield role is to
Yeah.
carry a
It's
squad.
intended as an offensive weapon. The tank is. I don't think the tank itself is the offensive weapon. It's just like a gun and it
Force.
fires through Repentia.
So, pause. And I'll take it. Yeah, I'll roll the last one.
Are we double tapping these things?
See.
So yeah, this is the Seraphim
Manage
double
right
tap
away.
into
Yeah.
the second sisters unit. Whoa. It's like the
Yeah, I think you're really-
those Seraphim
I'll let them die.
just wipe both sisters
Okay.
units. Oh no!
I think it's a not
to
zero
say.
chance and that there's a
Oh,
1 and another 0 in front of it now.
Oh,
So,
no.
real quick, couple miracle dice. I
That
killed him in my
changes
movement phase
things.
and also in my shooting phase.
We are fully in the base trade scenario here.
Oh, what a hero Seraphim unit right there.
Game of
Holy
twos.
crap.
Game of 2s.
Don't worry, team. We're just going to kill all of their objective holders, and they
Okay.
get no primary points forever.
I
And
guess-
we're
All we need to
gonna
do
I guess-
soon
is
break all their
charges,
banners.
so-
Oh, God.
I guess
Any
that's why the
advances?
Triumph of St. Catherine
Yeah.
stays behind.
Yeah, so
maybe.
Zephyr.
All game?
That's been 1 for them.
I had a game once where a Demon Prince and the Triumph fought each other for 4 straight
Repentia
turns.
are just going to go
Snipping
into the
that, yeah.
Anchorite.
Yeah.
Anchorite 2.
Okay.
I think that's all I can afford to do. They get a 7.
I think every game I played against a Triumph, I played
And
Old
I
School
just wanna
Death
make
Watch,
Sure I'm out of 3.
and that is not a unit that survives Old School Death Watch.
No, 18 wound model with a that exists on the table.
Yeah.
Nope.
Sorry, lady.
Oh, it has
Take
it has like
90 poison bolter shots.
Okay.
they have like a flag with a heart on it.
Inquisitor is going to charge both of those.
Very nice.
Mm-hmm.
We also have like a
That's 8.
flag with the other Captain Planet elements on it.
They have like a
And I'll
plate
base the
covered
cannons
in.
there.
It's either
the other
petals
cannon
or
nest is gonna go
organs or
into-
something. I don't like know.
I think
it's
it might
kind of
be embers, right? I think it's like a brazier.
She goes 4.
okay. That's better than whatever
Oh, the
they
one
made
that
it look like
she's
with this
carrying?
thing.
Yeah, I guess I'll
Yeah.
place
That might be
a pinch of
roses.
there.
Maybe it's like cranberries.
Maybe it's
Jimmy?
maybe.
It's a great
They're just like
question.
they're like walking really far. So they're like, if anybody gets hungry,
Oh, they are
I
petals.
brought
think I wanna leave them
cranberries.
They are the roses. I
You
just
should have
had-
just
Zephyr, we're
confirmed
gonna
it was
try to do
cranberries.
pinches.
Why
This
did
is
you
an,
just
this is
throw
an
it in?
unfortunate TTS scan, I think, because I have no idea what's going on in this model. Oh, this one has a
Yeah,
brazier.
it is-
There is a brazier one. Oh,
This
there's
is
two brazier
one.
ones.
I guess that makes sense because this would be a very difficult model to scan, but this is definitely one of the most unfortunate
Yeah.
TTS scans. This is some like orc race car level bad.
It's too bad because it is one of the coolest models, I think, in the range.
So should have busted.
Yeah.
I like the
6
idea
there.
they just have a parade every battle.
You got these 2. Oh, you've got them marked back there. I see.
Do you, what bank do you think sponsors this float in particular?
Citibank. They sponsor everything,
Okay,
and
not wanna
there's
die
probably 2
first.
Citibank like cafes on this map. Like Objective 4 is definitely a
way,
Citibank
yeah.
cafe, and like one
Yeah,
of
yeah.
these like
I got at
cornate
least
towers
one
in the
receipt
corners
here. I
is
was
probably a
hoping to kill
Citibank
with a
cafe.
pincha, but
I'll like sometimes go in there to do work.
Yeah, that
because
one hasn't
the
even-
Nero kind of sucks.
Yeah.
The cornate
Yeah.
infestation hasn't even changed that one. That's just how it was designed.
It's like so weird to go in and just like do work, but it's still like a bank. So like,
I forgot to shoot my brazier.
but it's
too.
it's
That's
not.
probably
It's like it's just a
what I should've done.
Starbucks that has like tellers inside of it,
Yeah, we'll go.
and sometimes they'll talk to you
We'll
about
go
like a
canvas
loan if you like
first.
sit in the
Alright.
wrong part. But it's definitely just a cafe. It's like
so I'm gonna
it's
go
the most
into
bizarre
pincha, of
fusion
course,
of different
since I was
businesses.
charged. Female 2s, 1 explodes. Wounding on 3s.
They were like repainting my apartment like 2 weeks ago, so I was
Yeah.
just in one of those like all day
Like, no,
doing
Judas
work.
doesn't
Yeah,
do
yeah,
that.
yeah.
6s. 5s rerolling. 4 did.
Oh, boy.
That's the squad.
So there go the Repentia off of the right-hand flank.
All right,
Cleaning up
that's-
the infestation.
Miracle.
kind of knew that was happening.
Miracle 1.
This is definitely one of those matchups where at the end of every
Four.
player's turn, we
Mhm.
think that player is 100% going to win.
Yeah,
And
interesting.
then
So,
it keeps changing.
big misplay from Rentar here, which will
Copy
cost
this
her
one.
quite a bit. He's leaving this Repentia Superior by Objective 6 because it gave the Zephyrim a charge target to get onto that objective. That's going to be
In
bad.
swing, sitting on 2s.
Oh, there was a model left alive over there?
Yeah, so it was the character that bailed
Thank
out of
you,
the Rhino,
Catherine,
and
for
then
that lovely
Rentar
buff.
forgot to move it.
Oh,
nice.
no.
2s and 2s.
Yeah.
Ooh.
How did the
No,
Repentia
actually,
Superior
yeah,
get all
some
the
of
way
this.
over here?
Oh,
She was in
no.
the Rhino. That blew up.
Oh, that was the one that got charged.
yeah.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Or no.
It was the one that got shot to
That's
death
true.
by the Retributors. By Objective
Yeah, I
6.
only
So-
get one. Okay.
Yeah.
So I am going
And the Canoness
to
and the
get a miracle.
Repentia and the Superior came out. And then the Superior was a little bit discombobulated.
Yeah, okay. So
Just looking
this
to
was
you.
the one that Zephyrim just charged?
All right. I will
Okay.
go with
Yeah, I thought it was with the
Zephyrim.
Zephyrim for a second, and I was like, wait, did we pick up the wrong model?
Wonder if I could touch this and get her in. It's probably not going to matter. Nah, I got one out. So we'll do 7 plus the Superior. So that's 7 times 3, 21, 22 attacks.
Lantra Felina, what if it was cranberries, though? And she was just, like,
Hitting
spreading
on
cranberries
3s.
around? You know?
I mean, my head
There's,
canon,
like,
I think, now is that it's
3
cranberries.
explode.
There's, like, birds following them, eating them,
And
which
T3,
is...
right? So
kinda cool,
3s reroll.
I
That's what
guess.
the cherubs are.
Or it's like breadcrumbs, because that's the only way they know how to get home.
AP 4.
That was a good roll. I like that. Look at that. Look at the spikiness on this roll, though. It's like a...
Super spiky.
Turned into salami.
Love salami. All right. I think all I got left is my preacher, who's going to take down an anchor.
Yeah, that was a big mistake.
And your Inquisitor.
I like the
It's,
confidence saying that this
yes.
missionary is about to take down this anchorite.
Does not get reroll.
That was
Actually, I
quite
gotta
the
do
declaration by
Inquisitor
dudes.
first, shouldn't I? Yep. So
Oh, yeah.
These
4
dudes have a ton of
attacks on
attacks.
3s. All hit. Sweet.
You ever
Only
wonder
wound
why
on
how
2s 'cause
the
he's wet.
missionary is like a 30-point character?
Um,
When he has like such an absurd.
Yeah,
Hmm.
Like
his-
aura
they
buff.
are really good.
yeah, we'll let that go. So just 3.
So,
Like the same character out of Orcs is like over 70 points. Or 300 and something, depending on which
Okay.
one.
So that was
roll damage, please.
that was an interrupt from
Okay, damage
Rentar, right? That
is
killed
2.
those 5 Repentia, and then let the Anchorite
Risk it. So 86.
pile into the
She
missionary.
passes the last one.
We could double
And
fight
she'll
with that
swing back.
Anchorite and try to kill the
Mhm.
missionary too.
Swings.
That feels like it's not unnecessary use of CP. Unless you-
It frees it up to keep
So-
going. You can just go kill those sisters in the back now.
I suppose.
Just,
Although
just
the-
plow directly
Is
through
the-
your opponent's army with that one
That's
model.
what I call efficiency.
Let's charge.
Yeah.
Oh. 9
Alright,
saves.
That is a lot of
Oops.
CP though. You're only down to 4, and
Oh,
that's
yeah,
3 of
they're
them.
not good
Yeah.
enough.
And
I
also,
mean, Celestine's gonna leapfrog it and do that anyway.
yeah. And the missionaries.
she
Let's
will
be real.
consolidate into-
Missionaries always make their 4+ invulnerable saves
You're back.
every time.
They really
every
do.
time.
Yeah, it's 1.2 and this is 1. So
It is uncanny how many wounds those
7.
guys tank.
0.3. But not junior.
They keep the proud tradition
Keep
of
doing it.
Sororitas characters of being unreasonably difficult
Alright,
to kill.
so missionary real quick.
So we got Becky versus Becky over here. Then
He's not charged. So
You hold Becky off.
we got the fight of the Beckys.
I'm excited for that.
Oh no, you're
It's just a,
One of them has.
one of them is super anime, and the other one is like a 95-year-old woman.
One of them's got the
One of
warlord
them-
trait though. The
When the two of them are fighting, I need you to zoom in on those two models and really just look at the contrast between
morale. I
these
guess
two
morale, if you wanna
these two
pitch.
choices that were made.
I'm gonna pass it over to you.
yeah.
Like one of them's like voguing; it's like 7 feet tall. Her head is enormous, the flawless face, and the other one looks like she just came off of an AARP commercial and then put on her like
6.
hazmat suit.
Yeah, this is just
Yeah,
the lady
my
from
CP.
Ghost in the Shell, except for
Right.
sister battle, right?
Yeah, the other one is the current Queen of England.
Get 2 banners.
Yep.
Get 3
So
more
no
assassins,
primary points
holding one
for.
objective.
Yeah, that's brutal.
So at the end of this turn, you too will only be holding one objective.
Seems
What
likely.
a galaxy brain play there.
Yeah, that. Well, I mean, in fairness, that only works because you leave the.
I guess the meme is like the normal-headed person, but then the other person has that like it's the meme with the guy with like the really flat head.
Touching this thing.
Mhm.
Yeah, the only reason that was possible is because of the Repentia Superior there.
Touching it.
Yeah.
In fairness, although losing
Or
all
like
of that-
Repentia inferior.
And I'm touching
actually, you still lose the primary points. You just don't get
it. Touching it.
the
Objective. So,
your opponent just doesn't control that objective at the end.
Touching these walls over here. Dropping sisters.
Right, all touching as best as I can manage with the hitboxes.
Okay.
It's weird that no one else ever does the thing where you just hold down the right click, which makes the
Ash,
model
do you
touch the
get
ground.
primaries this turn?
Got. Wait, oh yeah.
Oh, was it hold 2?
Yeah.
Yeah. True.
Alright.
That is the true.
The it is known. Yeah, so yeah, I mean, we're swinging back and forth here. I think as is to be expected, but these jump pack units from Dudes are kind of mopping the floor on in terms of the mission. I'm not confident that Dudes can win the attrition fight. I think he's just too far behind right now, but his maneuverability may be able to pull the game out for him, which will be really cool if that happens. Going in second into such an aggressive army and being able to pull that out would be really impressive. And we'll see how well these Zephyrim do. It's going to be a lot of like random shots going into them, so they may get taken out. But I'm not sure that there's enough long range shooting in this army. Do you put these Repentia on the left-hand side for Rentar back into a Rhino? I think you do, right?
It looks like he's angling to have them go for the Seraphim.
All I needed.
Oh yeah, let me get a miracle for battle round real quick.
The Repentia by objective 1.
I got a 5.
Oh,
Because I think you could book this
So
Rhino
second 5 in this
around,
game. Hell yeah.
you know, sort of onto objective 1, and then jump the Repentia into it and use it to slingshot them next turn into objective 3. Because I don't think they're really going to do anything this
1,
turn.
Rhino 2.
Like,
Rhino
they
2
could
here.
is that or
potentially-
you just kill,
It's not
you
what I
just
needed
finish
to
off
do,
this one
but
Rhino that's just still
after you take that,
kind of hanging out.
Yeah, I guess the danger there is like your Rhino gets touched by the other Rhino, and you just stand around for a little while.
Or this
we're
one
measuring
Rhino just
the-
fires-
measuring the threat ranges.
This Rhino just like chases the Repentia and shoots 8
Yeah,
shots a
check
turn into them and just like wipes them out.
Yeah. I like that there's this unit of 3
Alright,
Mortifiers
okay,
just chilling in the
okay.
middle.
Yeah, that unit really seems like the thing that makes this game really hard for dudes.
Yeah, and just
Like,
just ripping like 6 models off the table every turn. Like, we're not fighting
Yeah.
with that unit. We're just standing around and shooting our guns.
Sans that one unit, this feels like a much more even game right now. Just due to good dudes' good position. But that unit is like,
Are these older
what do you even
models in
do?
the 28?
You can't deal with it anymore.
No, that's not 28.
Also, Celestine
I
can't die and
sized
is about to
them
wipe
up.
out everything on objective 3.
Cool.
Yeah.
I guess mine might be too big. Maybe.
Oh,
Maybe
wait,
slightly.
what? Yeah. Oh, yeah. These are 1 point. These are 1 inch, and it might be a bit small actually. I thought I sized them, but this might be from a different batch.
Sure.
Pretty sure I resized that.
Mine might have just been off.
These
I don't think I even
secondaries.
checked.
Somehow we've only
They
scored
look
3
right,
on
so like-
Assassinate.
Cool.
That's about to go up.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, we have easy kills on the
that is all that
missionary,
matters.
potential kills on Junith and or one of the
Preacher will
Beckies.
advance.
Yeah. The Magifire looks like
Cool.
that'd be easy to snipe out too.
We got a shot from Celestine into these Zephyrim too. It's gonna be a lot of damage.
Yeah.
A lot of damage coming out of the Sisters' army this turn.
Magifire will advance. +3,
Yeah, but I mean, every shot that they take, that's a marginally harder charge for the Triumph. Although, that's close
I
enough.
think you leave the one on objective 6 as dudes, right? Like until the
Rhino 1
end.
will
So I don't.
advance.
It's gonna be a 7-inch charge probably regardless.
Going
Just on the off
7.
chance that one can survive and get you the extra.
Yeah.
Because that's that's at least an extra 5 primary points if you can get it. If that lady can survive.
I mean, you can also keep the 2 that are behind the container,
Yeah.
sack that objective, not get the full 15, and then
Yeah.
Right.
on your
Yeah,
following turn,
Yeah,
just
yeah,
jump
maybe-
back onto 6 yourself.
Maybe you
not
just pull it.
advance. Okay.
Like, just try and maintain
So
Rentar
in
staying
fairness-
at 0 points for the next couple of games.
In fairness,
Or
Ash
or next couple
has
turns.
Shooting Phase,
2 5s in
Anchor
her
it into
miracle
your
pool,
missionary.
so she can
no other shot.
Yeah.
miracle kind of whatever she.
I don't think that's where she wants to. I don't think that's where she wants to spend them though. I think she wants to spend them on the Repentia trying to plow
Is it
through the
threes or
wall
fours?
onto the Blue
3,
Sisters on
because
3.
it's assault weapon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
you
that is
choose.
what it looks like. You're right.
4. I'm good.
Yeah, those Repentia would not be moving so aggressively if the goal wasn't to
These
make a charge.
Mortifiers are all going to shoot.
What if they just charge the
Seraphim?
missionary
Mm-hmm.
and then he makes all of his saves?
Well, then they just wrap him. Got him.
3,
Yeah, but he has 4 attacks. He'll just kill them all.
3.
Do you think like they get a buff the missionary because he's like still shouting stuff, right? I mean, like they're still gonna find it pretty
We
inspiring.
did.
He has that like. He has
Yeah,
that
is
stick
it-
with a skull on it, and the skull is
did.
also full of cranberries.
Okay.
Yeah, it'd be one of those random abilities that affects faction keywords, but not enemy,
Yeah, that's
or
fine.
but not like
Yeah.
friendly or enemy faction keywords.
Triumph
Is that how it
gonna
works?
shoot. Wait.
I don't know.
I hope
no,
that's how it
that's
works.
not range.
Well, let's look. It's probably friendly.
It-
I think they
it
got
is
rid of a lot of
Imperi-
those.
To your Becky.
I think it's friendly Imperium
Mhm.
units,
Uh,
but it would only not affect it because it says friendly.
It's
But I hope it just says Imperium.
Yeah,
Ones.
Adeptus Millstorm and
Miracle four.
Astralis are within 6 inches of friendly models with this ability.
expected. And then these ones are going to shoot your battle sisters.
Mm-hmm.
Meltas.
Have they ever defined what a friendly model is?
That's a good question.
All punch through.
I think they do.
Hey. Still
2
alive.
dead. Bolt pistols.
I'll go to ground on this. They're friends with each other. They're all the same
One
faction.
on the
Yeah, it's a
bolt
practice
pistol.
fight. They're just playing.
Yeah.
Got it.
Like that chainsaw hits a Repentia, and the Repentia's just like, "Oh, you got me," and just like lies down. And they just kind of like laugh a little bit. It's like,
yeah, it goes into tornado position.
Anything.
Puts your sword on her
Yeah.
head. They're just LARPing today.
Okay.
yeah, exactly. They're like down. They're like looking at their phones.
Charges. I get a miracle because Seraphim killed something.
Yep.
5. Spend my CP back down. to
Reinhardt
4
really,
for the
really building
Repentia.
out her miracle dice pool here. 3 5s. Ugh.
You can fish for the miracle if you like.
I'm sorry, what?
You can try for the miracle if you want. I spend 1 for the Repentia to advance the charge.
Oh yeah, no, the Inquisitor's dead, so.
Oh, right, forgot. Repentia into.
I did try to get him inch away from the wall. I don't know if I succeeded.
I have to get inside.
Oh yeah, I see. So you're gonna get the 1 right there. Okay.
So that's a 9. Take a 5. 2 5s, so they don't have a 4.
So we are miracling the charge
Yeah.
for those Repentia to automatically make them into that building.
Yeah, I figured. This slap fight between the canonesses probably gets ended by Celestine barging in.
yeah. She's like, children, stop fighting.
Alright.
Both Beckys are just like pointing their beneficences at each other, like, no, she started it.
Alright. They have to be directly aligned.
I really like Celestine as a character. Just as sort of the stat line of Celestine as a kind of a combi support and smash character who's also sort of hyper resilient. I think she's just like such a solid include in every list, and she seems really fun to play.
Becky.
She definitely is a demon prince.
I think.
Yeah, go for it.
Well, she's like substantially better than demon prince actually. Costs less, has better saves, gets back up. Is a free flamer.
It is
No
sad
cast,
that
I guess.
the resurrection is not rerollable now.
Yeah, that's sad. That's a sad thing.
It is.
That you just said.
It's a 2+. Like, come on. It's like kind of heartbreaking when she fails it. On both
but that's
sides,
like that
'cause
hard-
you like playing around, having to play around the resurrection, and then she doesn't get it, and you're like, oh, okay. Well,
No, it's heartbreaking in the way that like the one meme with Ralph Wiggum where it's like, watch, you can pinpoint the exact time when his heart breaks, and then they go frame by frame. But it's funny. Everyone else thinks it's funny. I think it's funny when that happens because I hate that character. Tired of this character. Just have to kill twice. Costs 40 less than Demon Prince. Has the same output.
Grab
no
a
side
5.
back up.
powers though.
And
Oh yeah,
smite.
because the Demon Prince.
to a 6 and
That Demon
roll
Prince
one.
always manages to cast those psychic powers with no buffs.
Or
that guy.
10.
Does D3 wounds to himself most of the time. I don't even bother casting his powers half the time because it's a risk.
So we use the double active
Okay,
faith off Junith
Yep.
to auto pass that charge into the
Yes,
Zephyrim.
that-
No guns
yeah.
went
Makes
into the
sense.
Zephyrim, interestingly.
Just flamer, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
So what
Probably
else?
learning from previous because that would have been what 12 pistol shots.
Triumph
6 pistol
will
shots.
probably
6.
survive.
Yeah, 6.
That might
You're
have killed one
missing half
Zephyr.
your hits.
Let me. Junie's not engaged right
Interestingly,
now. So let me go ahead and
while
intervene
the
real quick.
the canonesses on the Triumph
Sure.
die when it loses wounds, it doesn't
Like, he
actually
dies,
lose
the
their pistol
Mortifiers
shots.
will
It
go
just
to
always
Junior.
makes the pistol attacks.
Interestingly, also
No, not.
it's
not until
Canonesses,
Mortis
but
comes
Canonesses
out.
Canonesses hit on
because
2s,
heroic interventions are not
but the
targeted,
Triumph hits on
therefore she
3s.
intervenes,
Because it
she can be
innately gives
targeted
itself
by
plus
anything
1, right?
charged.
It does.
Is it anything or just the unit she charged?
Yeah. Yeah, one of its
Anything,
relics is
because
plus
she
1
doesn't.
to
She
hit.
isn't declaring a charge at a target. She's simply declaring a heroic intervention.
Oh,
and
to
it
itself,
equals
or is that an
therefore.
aura?
It's an aura, and it affects itself.
It's real
You can
good.
check with Trevi. It's exactly as what.
No, yeah, I think you're right.
Junith's over here like spinning like a helicopter.
Yeah, never mind.
Okay. So she's not heroically intervening.
She's not. No.
All right. Then I will start with the Mortifiers into
Looks like
Becky.
they
This
just had a
Canonist is
discussion on
in
the
trouble.
Heroic
Yeah.
intervention
One
rules.
in?
I think the issue there
Or
was
sorry,
if
two.
Junith declares a heroic
Three,
intervention,
I think.
she is open to be attacked from everything,
you
basically
right.
everything in
Oh.
the Sister's army,
Ah.
Yeah.
So I
despite
think I get
regardless
two
of what
people
she
in, yeah.
actually hits with the heroic intervention.
I mean, she couldn't be a target for the Mortifiers or Celestine because they can only target units that they charged.
No, as soon as you intervene, anything can target
Got a
you.
bit more room, but it's
Yeah, sure.
hitting the wall.
You can be targeted, but units that charge can still only legally declare targets against things that they charged.
Or that performed a heroic intervention.
Stupid wall.
Is that in a...
Why do you fight me?
That's in the rules.
Yeah,
Just in
that-
the rules.
There you go.
Yep.
I don't know.
Yeah,
All
you're
things that'll
not.
put in there.
You're not.
45.
You're not
seconds.
invincible to melee attacks when you're intervening anymore.
Well, it's not that you'd be invincible, it's just that, like...
Stuff that charged.
Goodbye,
Okay, yeah.
Becky.
Alright. Well, at least they include that.
Yeah.
Cool. What do I know? I don't run characters.
Apparently not that.
Choose.
Yep.
I run one character between both of my armies.
And then this one will slide in it.
Everything else is an aura that stands behind a wall.
It's attached to a base.
This one will slide in here.
Oh no.
And base
Where
Juni.
did the queen go?
1.
One Becky down.
Trying to be out.
Yep, still 1.1 away from that. Repentia,
Yeah, that combat.
Sentosa.
Turned. At least there's still an entire unit of Repentia right
Okay.
there, who are about to go ham.
Be 1.2 away from this Repentia over here. 0.2 is right there.
So everybody in chat,
That's
how's
a
your
point, yeah.
how
Alright,
was your
so-
weekend? Anybody get some good games in?
Yeah, and the other two are just gonna have to stay put.
I got a good game in yesterday.
Okay.
Interrupts?
You can watch the stream archive.
That's a great
on the Twitch
question.
channel. What a nail biter of a game that was. We had no
It's
idea
very,
who was going
it's
to
very
win.
close.
So, like,
And 95 points 3 turns in.
here.
Man, who? No one, you could not tell who was going to win right until the end.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah,
like,
but
was
that
Trevi
maybe
going to break through his limit
something
break and somehow
there.
manage to score not
So I'll
100
spend
points
2
in a
to
game?
interrupt with the Sephron.
And it, you know, you almost did. It's close.
Yeah, I was only 70 points away from
25.
scoring 100 points. Singularity, 2 games in with the Sisters of Battle. That's awesome.
Nice.
Was that in person or on Tabletop Simulator?
I believe on average you will do 5 wounds.
Yeah. I mean, if I can spike high, potentially low or
Wait,
something.
no, I forgot about
The Triumph of St. Catherine and the
Catherine.
Zephyrim have roughly the same assault stat lines attacking each other.
So I'll get 8 in there.
Yeah, they're all they're all just going to be identical. The math is identical. Both sides,
Let's
right?
charge. So 25 with the superior,
Yeah.
and I'll hit on 3s. Big money. Hey.
Yeah,
big
she's
money.
strength. Yeah, she gets she's strength 5.
Oh man, though.
Uh-oh.
That
Oh yeah,
Trap.
you're -1 to hit. Yep. It's been a while since I've used her.
It's like there's going to be a new set of
Okay, and
ladies
then
carrying
choose
this
roll.
coffin.
Oh yeah, the Triumph's -1 aura affects her in melee,
So 18.
so it actually is significantly worse for the
Yeah.
Zephyrim.
so
All right, so the Triumph
To
just has to
aside,
fail
all
every
these
single one of
four-ups.
these saves. Ready?
Just need you to fail every single one.
Nope, I didn't do it.
Nope.
7.
Rip.
That's still some
Can't
good
take it
output,
through
though.
it, then
It does
it's
not
4.
bracket her, unfortunately. They need to do 2 more.
This. Save and take a 3, turn into a 4.
She brackets pretty hard,
So
too.
she
Like, she
loses
starts
7
losing
and
attacks,
she's
but
not
she also
bracketed.
starts losing her, like,
Go to trash.
combat relics, so her
Right.
efficacy kind of, like,
pretty well,
multiplicatively
though.
goes down.
Yeah, Singularity. I think
Repentia,
the question
Swing.
for the Zephyrim is
Yeah.
whether any of the other units sort of bring the same thing, which is like a very fast moving infantry unit,
Combat.
and that's not like
Mortifier.
Sororitas have a lot of
Back
fast
to the
units, right?
wall
But none of them are
with battle
12-inch
sisters.
range or 12-inch move jump back infantry.
The wall being an asshole. Is
Yeah,
not
they
something
move
you
fast
get
via
affected by.
hijinks that are usually only applicable to a single unit per turn.
Yeah. And I think that's why dudes has them in, and that's something that we're seeing a lot happening a lot is like having 1 or 2 units that are just fast for the sake of being fast,
Why is the
so that
wall
you can
so
like
rude,
score
dude?
engage on all fronts, and you can go perform actions, and you
I
can.
don't
do
like
all
these
that stuff.
walls. These walls are red.
It's like, for all the criticisms of Ninth, it is interesting. Like, that's not been a thing that has been in 40k in my
Yeah, that's
history playing this game
so
since 3rd edition.
The
Two
base
of them
movement
into
speed
your
of units is
Magify,
actually very
everyone else into
valuable.
your battle sisters.
Yeah, like, a unit being
Okay.
fast
So 6 into the Magify.
for the last 8 editions was not useful.
Yeah.
Now it's useful. Sometimes.
Yeah, but
in
I would agree
scenarios.
that Zephyrim are, it's the one damage is just sort of.
Rolling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If
Yeah,
they
and
had-
they're
if they had-
competing with
Yeah, okay.
Repentia for a lot of like combat-oriented buffs too.
Yeah.
All right, at a 4-up invul.
Yeah, if they had like relic weapons like Blade Guard veterans
Dirty
did,
Miracle.
I think that unit becomes amazing.
I did.
Yeah, can you
Oh,
imagine if Blade Guard veterans could deep strike, move 12 inches, and
Oh,
auto,
you
like
did it
auto
not
charge
for
12?
Yeah.
So
I mean,
yeah,
could
two
you also
stuff.
imagine if Zephyrim had 3 wounds and a 2
this
plus
is
armor
going to
save?
do potentially 2,
Yeah.
so I'll just roll it. And we're good.
Okay.
Turns
There's
out.
Is there a
six
unit that is the
inches.
combination of those
5,
two
6.
things? Does that exist? Is it just Vanguard vets?
It's
It's just Vanguard vets.
or like a Sanguinary Guard or something.
Yeah.
Imagine Repentia
Can't
with
wait-
power armor and jetpacks.
Yes.
Yeah, that'd be disgusting.
15 into your sisters.
Oh my god.
Okay, 4s again.
Can't wait for that new Nurgle or that new Death Guard thing to reduce the entire Sisters army to toughness 2. What
It's the important thing to
a
get.
day that'll be.
Yeah, that'd be pretty okay.
Not that the Magify is not important, but this one knocks off your flag.
It's like
As long
plus
as
1
you
to
don't-
wound for all
as
your
long as you
frag
kill
missiles.
less
Pretty
than
good.
7 adventure.
I've never been in combat.
Although the
with
fragments
Strikers.
lost to be within 9 inches of something.
This is a game first.
This Hospitalar
Then
is about to
Anchorite,
need
15
a
attacks into
Hospitalar.
your guy.
Is it my swing first?
Oh, right. I forgot about that.
I'm just gonna.
So, no, I'll get the Triumph.
Oh yeah.
10 attacks with. So I had 9 hits with the Mortifier. So
Rentar burning a lot of time on her
Okay.
clock. I'm noticing now.
He is physically incapable.
We're
of
down to
doing
33 minutes for Rentar, but 52 still for dudes.
10 swings with the Mud.
I mean-
This is only top of 3.
weapons, hitting
I guess
on
this
2s,
is
1 explosion.
Just one
Most
turn
of most
deeper.
of both armies are
Moving
gone
on,
though.
two.
Yeah,
So,
things will go a lot quicker from now on. For
Minus
sure.
1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
we're now looking at 2 combat
Sorry,
two
fours,
combats and
minus
almost
one.
no shooting for both turns.
Yeah.
We'll roll it.
But things are coming down
Okay,
to
so I'll
it,
take one.
and losing all the primary points that turn is a big swing.
Roll the
Dude's up
Master
7 points on
Sword,
primary and about to score a bunch.
These ones are 2s.
Although Rentar's target priority was pretty good here. She
First
pulled all the
one's good.
objectives
I'll
secured
miracle
off
the
of
other
objective 3,
one.
so took that away from
or no, it's
from Dutes.
Smarter
So
sword,
Dutes will
so
just
85.
score the 5 points for holding objective 5 and 6.
okay.
But he does still
I
have
guess
a
missionary will go
Seraphim
quick.
unit in Deep Strike.
I can kill one Zephyrim.
Yeah.
Where does that
He's
unit
gonna
land?
just base him.
I think?
Right
That's a really good question.
Does it just land and take out the Seraphim on
It's not
1?
charged.
Yeah, I'm wondering if maybe that's the opportunity because it does have Inferno pistols. So if you drop it by 1,
Right,
you can
and
then
then
turn it
those
around and
nines
try to
with
start killing
those
the rhinos
9
there
hits.
to take objective 2 next turn.
And that's 9 wounds.
You could do it by 4 as well, but 4
Yeah.
feels more approachable. Like I
Solid
guess
8.
it's roughly the same either way.
That missionary did not make all of his 4+ Rosaria saves somehow. The Anchorite tickle
I guess
fingered it to
Junie
death.
can go into.
He's making all of his saves with the Emperor
Warps,
now.
So she'll get 4. Reroll the ones. I believe I'm strength 5. Yep.
I have to say, I am pretty impressed with the Mortifiers
yeah,
this game.
5.
Not only the damage
Fours.
output, but just the
So
shooting.
just 2.
It's so solid.
Minus 1, right?
The
Yeah,
heavy
it should be
bolter stat line's
81
really good.
damage.
The
Yeah,
fact that they
Yeah.
often give themselves
take them
-1
as
to hit
Mortifiers,
doesn't really
so-
matter so much right now.
These are
Especially if you're considering
$5
building for the Harlequin matchup, because they're already going to be -1, so you don't really
And-
care about that. And you just have this like relatively fast unit that can kill like 3 bikes a turn.
Hey, look at that.
Why are
So
they
you
often?
agree?
Why are they giving
I guess he's
themselves
not close
-1 to
enough.
hit?
Because they advance
Yeah.
and they turn their weapons into assault.
Oh yeah, right.
Only 2 for bring it down. Cool.
And
Magifire.
that's sort of a damage
Get
profile
3.
that you don't
I think
often
I'm at 9
expect
full
coming out of
assassinate. Yeah.
Sororitas
Two
list. A lot of
characters
times, these sisters lists are built
This
around
one explodes.
like sort of high impact weapons,
No wounds.
so that they can use their miracle
Hospitaller
dice for the
Should
most
not be an
efficiency.
It is
however,
interesting
correct.
between in their holy trinity of weapons
So I
of the
knock you off
the
this
Melta,
flag.
the Flamer, and the Heavy Bolter.
Yeah.
The only one that uses Heavy Bolter is the thing that's not actually a Sisters unit.
Yep.
Yeah, we did
not in
see
order.
Ashley Thompson
And,
playing
we
the
fish for
vehicles
morale on
with
the Zeph.
flamers or with the bolters,
Nope.
the dedicated transport.
Does anyone?
Those work at all?
No.
Were those working out?
Yeah, it was pretty good. Specifically
those.
into the Harlequin
I
matchup.
killed something though, so
She was
Thanks,
able
yeah.
to pull a bunch of bikes off,
Great.
and it's basically the same reason that the Mortifiers are
Alright,
good.
over
You
to
know, it's
your
just
turn.
Yeah.
each one of
Let's
those
see, I
things
lost
was
some
packing
armored
3 heavy
units,
bolters for
so
9
I'm gonna
shots,
go for
and
that.
just a sort
3
of
point
staggering
gauge.
damage output of 2
5.
damage weapons to kill those guys.
Okay. So I'll get 5 points.
So I think in this context, I do
and
really like these
a banner.
Mortifiers.
Yeah.
They definitely seem like a good tech pick for the top 2
Okay.
factions in the metagame
There's
currently.
a very scary hole here for your adventure to go through.
Wonder if the new Death Guard will end up
Maybe
changing
1.3, I could move it.
meta considerations, because that like universal -1 damage
No
is so
legal moves
impactful
available.
if the meta starts to try and shift into heavy bolters.
Red Rhino, see if I
Agreed.
get a wound back.
It's going to be a big deal.
Nope.
You got 1 CP now.
Makes those
Miracle
buzzsaws
for my turn.
pretty poor.
Mm-hmm.
It's another 5.
Miracle for your turn as well. That's a 5.
So Dudes scoring those 5
Okay.
points for holding 2 objectives. Probably going to, be able to be relatively entrenched on objective 3, I think. Although these characters
One
for
CP,
Rentar on
I
that,
could go there, do that.
just outside that wall are going to be brutal. I'm actually not
Also,
sure that
just
Dudes
have
has a
nothing
really
in
good
this
answer for
corner.
those. Maybe he just goes in with the Repentia and tries to clean him up, but it's so inefficient.
So
Where did the other Mortifier go?
Rhino's gonna come back.
Did
Um,
Junith kill it?
I think so.
Oh.
There was one that was damaged from some random stuff. I think it had eaten a
Yeah.
Nelta shot, and I think Junith popped it off. Bunk. Just hit it with her. What does she have? Mace of Castigation.
And what does that do? Let's see.
Yes. She castigated it. She said, "Stop, bad boy.
So if I go there,
No more mortifying. I'm mortified that you would even consider doing that."
do that, that'll put you on.
This castigation +2
I
-1
think it's
2.
more important to kill these
Mm-hmm.
Serpentia.
Did you take your 1 banner? Yes, you did.
Rolls hit
Yeah.
rolls 1, so it's 100%
Junie's
version
gonna
on
fall
hit.
back.
This is a really interesting
Okay.
How dare she?
mission
from
for
honorable
Raise the
combat
Banners
with
because I think it's such an auto pick. Like you have 3 objectives in your deployment zone. I'm just gonna take Raise the Banners,
Yeah.
and it never
Let's
scores
do
maximum.
this.
You're like lucky
Yeah, did
to
you
get
see
10
that?
points on it.
Yeah. Did you see the Goonhammer breakdown where Raise the Banners averaged like 6.5 points
Yeah, that sounds
in all
about
games it was
right.
taken?
That sounds about right.
It seems like not a good secondary.
Big old trap. Yeah,
It's like the ultimate win core.
Okay. Seraphim will come down.
and it's also like a lose more. Like as soon as you start losing primary objectives, you also lose
Yeah.
banner points. And it's not like you're forcing your opponent to make hard decisions. Like they already want to contest your objectives.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
you.
I wonder if there would have been a good alternative for this. I think, interestingly, Seraphim can perform actions and attack in the same turn because they're Deadly Descent triggers before you declare their actions. So you can deploy Scramblers with them really well.
You can't take behind enemy lines and engage on all fronts at the same time, right? Those
Correct. Yeah.
Approximately
Behind enemy lines is a
correct,
little awkward
Bubble.
too because you have to have 2 units in your opponent's deployment
Yeah.
zone, and that's
Some
so
of this-
often
some-
It's like
true.
like strictly worse than engage.
So rarely true. Yeah. I think I might like
if you have-
Scramblers for these lists actually.
the only issue with Scramblers is that you're taking time off with units not doing anything, which is like
Well, you,
the only units that you can afford to do that with would be basic sisters, which tend to
Right,
just get shot up and aren't
I mean,
your
both-
opponent's
Both of them,
territory.
both of these players had,
So
or
I'm sorry
at least,
to ask this of you, but you're gonna have to
Rentar
still roll
did, had
these shots
sisters
if you
in
make them
situations where they could have deployed scramblers.
against the system because some of
Yeah,
them
but if you got
will
all
have-
three
like,
though, right? Like
depending on which model you're
which
shooting from,
units in either opponent's
yeah.
deployment zone have yet
I think each
to be
model
able
can
to have
see
an opportunity to do
The
that?
Seraphim.
model.
And if you get
Yeah, but I get it. But I get,
They're not.
It's not dense.
The ones on
it's light
Objective
cover,
1?
So I get cover based on whether.
Yeah,
or not-
so the ones
Oh,
on
yeah,
Objective
yeah.
1, like their second
Yeah,
round of
I see
shooting,
what
they
you're saying.
only give up their shooting phase shooting
All right,
to deploy
we're
scramblers.
gonna go ahead and shoot.
And that was not a very, like, that's not very
The movement
effective
phase
because
for
their
one?
Inferno pistols can't fire. So they come down, they do the deadly descent fire,
let's
and
put
then they declare the
Meltas
action.
into-
So you still shoot your Inferno pistols, you just give up
Oh,
6 bolt pistol
okay.
shots, and you get the scrambler.
I know one still
That's
has
good
to
tech.
take
Yeah,
self-protection.
I've only seen it done a couple
Yeah.
times, and it's interesting because it's so. I mean, it's like the most reliable secondary to score 10 points on. It's so interesting that not a
Yeah.
lot of Sisters players play it, especially dudes here with 2 units of Seraphim. I
We're
would
gonna put
expect
everything
him
into
to be
the
doing that.
Battle Sisters.
no assassinate off of dudes either.
The bolt pistol slow roll.
Yeah, assassinates
So first one
kind of requires your
will
opponent to
be-
play
We'll just start. We'll start from this
play
end.
alongside.
Not for sisters. I don't
So-
know that I've
Yeah.
ever managed to not kill at least 5 characters playing against sisters.
So threes.
Like they have to.
and threes.
All of the characters have to run up
One.
with the Repentia.
Okay, this one I don't get cover, so far
Like they're
Yeah,
They're not-
he
they're not really
would've-
stay at home.
I mean, he's only at 1 character dead right now,
still
right?
dies.
So
yeah, but he's got like
Okay,
what
next
two
one.
right here pressing against the formation.
Yeah.
There's another one
Two
currently
wins.
just getting punched to death by
These ones I
Zephyrim.
do
Like
get cover.
dudes is on track to max out a
Uh,
theoretical.
So
yeah,
Assassinate.
I think the down assassinate's better for a more aggressive list, which is I think why Rentar picked it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Dutz's army,
She's
because
dead.
it's based around that multi-melta castle,
Right,
I
and,
don't
one
think
very
it quite
end,
has the
Spirit.
same amount of push. So he was probably just didn't want to give
Dutz.
Rentar the ability to deny him a secondary by playing more cagely
No
with
wounds,
her
and
support
then the
characters.
Meltas. So again, starting from my right.
Meltas don't matter because.
What about bring it down? Can you score those
yeah, it's
very well here?
85. So one dead, or I guess you
Or
got
that
six
just
dead.
9
I
points?
think
No, 'cause
bring it
with
down-
the rhinos.
Bring
that's,
it down, yeah,
would've
would have been good because
Okay,
you also
so-
scored 2 points for every mortifier you killed.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that's what he
Yeah,
has.
that'd have been easy max out.
He actually, well, he has.
Oh, does he?
He's almost maxed out. Yeah, he's at 14 right now.
Nope.
Oh, you're right.
And the other two
Good call.
shots.
There
There you go. That's why he
One
didn't
more hit.
assassinate.
All right.
And one
Also,
more wound.
I guess it's should
Okay.
That
probably
makes
pretty
sense.
obvious. Somebody in chat room's yelling at us. Why are they talking about assassinate? It's so bad.
Oh, no,
There's
great.
your opponent has 12 vehicles you can score bring it
So
down
this
on.
one I
You have
will.
24 bring it down points available for you.
No, I can
Just take
here,
that.
hold on.
And you also have a list with like 21 multi-meltas.
And the superior will die.
Can you assassinate Celestine twice? Were we having like this
No.
long drawn out fight about
You
that
could-
in the
you could in,
server the other day?
you could
Too
in-
far away.
ITC, but in
Yeah, I don't
in
wanna
GT it's
shoot
an
him
end game
anymore.
objective and it scores depending on the number of
Okay,
characters who are destroyed
this
at the end.
Rhino will
So when
shoot.
I want to still argue about that because it's
yeah,
it's at the end of the game, but the way it's worded, it just counts the number of times characters were destroyed,
nice.
not the number of characters that were killed by that are off the table and dead.
No, that's
And if a
like,
character is destroyed multiple
Maybe.
times, it's like the word destroyed is a past tense term. Like they
No,
can,
so
one character can wrap up multiple instances of it.
some objectives like
One
thin their
dies.
ranks counts a model at the time it is destroyed. But most of the other end games count them at the end of they count whether or not their state is
Hospitaller
destroyed
is going
at
to
the end of the game.
put
And if Celestine regenerates,
pistol
then she
into
would not be
Adepta.
destroyed at the end of the game.
You need to stop using the term destroyed.
a wound.
Yeah, they just need to codify things better. But I think at this one, this is actually
destroyed
one
is
case
a-
where it
A
is
bolt gun from the
relatively clear.
Magifire.
Destroyed is a verb, not an adjective.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, yeah.
I guess it's an adjective that describes a verb.
All right, that doesn't even matter. Zephyrim will put 7 bolt pistols.
Yeah,
Same with,
singularity. It's the exact wording is it
These
counts
and
characters that are destroyed at the end of the
Well,
game, not were destroyed.
But-
during the game.
Yeah.
The problem is destroyed is a past tense term.
alright.
That's like saying was killed,
Good.
but someone can be killed multiple times.
It's just
Like
saying
a person,
it's saying
you're not
is dead.
destroyed. You're like
Right.
yeah, exactly.
we
But they
will
don't. They say
charge-
they phrase it like was killed, not is dead, because destroyed is not a measurement of current status. It's
the
you're asking whether or not a thing has
Seraphim
occurred
into the
when you say
single battle
destroyed.
sister over here.
That's why the ed is at the end.
And
It's what makes it awkward.
everybody
You're probably
has
strictly,
10.
like-
can be destroyed.
Yeah, but destroyed describes a different event. Like being destroyed is to experience an event. There's no status of destroyed, because destroyed describes a different status. It's like saying there's no status of being killed. There's the status of being dead, and you became dead by being killed.
Okay, they're gonna go there.
That doesn't sound right at all.
All right, Repentia.
But it's technically correct.
Yeah, let's go big.
The best
I'll
kind
charge
of
Repentia and Mortifiers.
Into the Mortifiers?
They really just need to codify
Yeah.
what these terms mean,
Okay.
and not just like use colloquial English
So
to describe
10.
the rules for things. Actually, the Gathering had this problem for a long time where they had
One
destroyed,
back.
buried, killed, and removed all at once, and they over time codified what all those meant. And then they just got rid of most of those terms
Yeah.
entirely from their language.
So it looks like Repentia here trying to clean up both of Rentar's remaining punchy units.
And
These Mortifiers and these Repentia. Although I think this Anchorite is about to kill its Alzheimer since Repentia is pretty
Hospitality
hardcore.
can do anything.
Yeah. I think that's it.
Alright.
Interventions.
Definitely intervene with Celestine, right? Yeah.
And
Here she comes.
check distance is 1.2. So here is back a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And Becky will go in. Should be able to get in just on the cusp. Yep.
Interesting sending the second
Right,
Canoness
so
in.
start
I
with
guess Rentar
These three are going to go
has
into the Morts.
not an amazing grip
And
of
the other
Miracle Dice. She has 1/5.
6 are going to go into
She
your
could use the
Repentia.
auto pass Canoness save.
So the ones in your Repentia,
But
I'm
the-
looking at
So I guess you maybe don't even
18
care about
attacks.
the Canoness at this point.
They do get Celestine because it's just on the edge.
Okay.
Yeah, they're just trying to push in as much damage as we possibly can.
4s.
True,
roll.
in such disputes around interpretation of a text sparks many religious wars. Maybe that's why these sisters are
And
murdering each
2s.
other.
Yeah, this whole fight is over.
Judas is like, I can count you for assassinate twice, Celestine. And Celestine's like, no, it counts at the end of the
And
game.
5 rerolling.
That is the voice that people with
it
that
is.
opinion of that rule use.
And then it's just the Civil War.
Okay, and then there's 9 attacks going into the Morts.
I like the idea that these missionaries are just holding up the core rules of 40k as their religious text.
2 explode.
It makes so
that
much.
guy that was
yeah,
the guy that was holding the book up to the sun was just trying to read really small print on an FAQ.
yeah. I think the Codex Imperialis or whatever is just like GT2020, and that's why.
Killed
He's like
one,
pulling-
almost killed them both.
It's like pulling through the Space Marine book to see if there's any FAQs in that affect the rest of their army.
That's why the Imperium is like so messed up.
One's dead.
Because they're
and the other
using
one
it's like Games Workshop like level verbiage on everything. Oh my god.
takes 4.
It's officially my head canon now.
Bring it.
Thanks, chat.
Just keep going. I'm not interrupting.
Well, your fear about that canoness seems to have been worn
So
out.
Seraphim,
Did this Rhino charge, by the way?
he did not.
Or was that the canoness that just got picked up? What just got picked up?
No, an Anchorite. Or excuse me.
Oh, that was
Mortifier.
the robot. Yeah.
Yeah, robot guide. Yeah, so the Repentia cleaned up all of the other Repentia and one of the Mortifiers. Left the other one on 1.
So if you look at Becky,
So,
about
and then you look at this Mortif.
3, 4,
Yeah. So if you look at Becky
So
and then you
11
look at this
attacks with her.
Anchorite,
Yeah.
and you realize that there's a fully grown adult woman, I think, inside of this Anchorite, but then you look at Becky, who's like 12 feet
one
tall.
will explode.
Yeah, these Mortifiers look very small, to be honest. I don't know if that's
Sorry,
the
AP1?
actual size of their model. In my head, I thought they were very large, but
Okay, she goes
they're not
down.
that big.
I mean, if you just look at the
They get sold in 2
Like the
packs.
sarcophagus
though, right?
there.
And Zephyrim.
Oh,
yeah, but like
Yeah.
so does Knights.
She gets 10 swings.
You're not wrong.
2. Explosion.
When they came out, they sold them in 3
Something on
packs. Right? You could buy
threes.
three Imperial Knights.
You can still buy
There
the
you go.
the War Dogs in sets of three?
Yeah, the
or is that just
Armigers come
boxes
in
of two?
Boxes of 2.
6.
When they first came out, you
And
bought
then 4
Rhinos
swings
in
with the
packs of
Master
2,
Sword.
and it was like $15.
3 hits.
Back in the day.
3 wounds.
That was like 2002.
Almost got her.
Oh, Triumph. Picking up all of the Zephyrim. Disgusting.
Yikes.
Well,
They needed
and you
to
have
they
nothing
needed to
else
bracket that lady.
fight,
Crisis
so
That was
averted
not
over
good.
there, I guess.
start
Although we do
with
have the Seraphim on
Celestine.
objective 4 that... I don't know if the...
Gold crew with anti-disestablishmentarianism over there, bringing out the big words.
I don't know if the squeegee that is the Triumph of St. Catherine is going to be able to remove this particular stain on Rentar's deployment zone.
Explosion. 4 saves on your adventure.
The Triumph of St. Catherine, the problem-solving
Yeah, 5.
parade.
And
They had 1 cranberry for every single
Who's
one
this?
of those
Oh,
efforts.
Celestine?
Do you think like they walk up and they put a cranberry on each of their eyes, you know, so that they could cross the river Styx?
Yeah. As is decreed in their
Consolidate
Book of
Cobra.
Faith, the Warhammer 40,000 core rulebook.
And then these are now out of combat, so
Alright, so I'll get a miracle for killing the 5 phase.
same. That's a 6.
So dude's currently
Another 2.
pretty far ahead on
Collection.
points, but this is looking pretty dire for him.
Yeah.
And I'll
Now that he has basically nothing
So I don't-
on objective 3, he just has his characters.
You can
He has
fish
the
for the
Seraphim.
refresh, by the way.
That's about it.
I guess he was up 7. I
yep.
guess is 10 up pretty
One better.
far? Especially since he went first.
And I get
No, he
fish
didn't
for
go
the
first.
Yeah,
He
he
went
went
second.
Yeah,
Rentar just didn't score
You
anything.
have
right. Yeah, she didn't get anything
2,
on round 3,
3
but round
objectives.
4 it looks
I
like
do get 1 for the Seraphim,
we're
so.
at 15.
Yeah.
She's holding
ugh.
3.
Alright, so I should
Yeah, and
have
holding more.
3. Yep. So I get
Okay.
1 for Seraphim Morel, 1 for start of round, 1 for start of
Yeah, I
turn,
think that's
2, 3, 4.
the turn of the tide.
Alright, battle round.
That tide turned right around and went
Another
back
2.
out to sea.
You
The waves
turned
just
my
Turn
tide
360 around
round, baby, right round.
like a record ocean.
The rhinos. Sorry, so I should be back here and touching
Does
this
Celestine
thing, so
just
you can see
die
the
to lose
rhino over
Reventure
there.
in the fight phase if they don't get killed?
Yeah, and then stands back up.
I guess they're gonna get killed by the
5
characters.
and 4. Closer to some characters.
Interesting that nobody's going for that rhino over there. Although I guess we probably don't really care that much.
Is Celestine a
Uh,
perpetual, or is Celestine
maybe.
just get back up via like
No.
warp magic?
Yeah, I think she's just like
somewhere
blessed by
here.
the Emperor or some garbage.
All right.
Oh, there we are going for the rhino. Okay.
Right.
But it has
We do have
3
an
wounds.
Inferno
There's no way
pistol
we
on
can get through all
wave,
that.
So
Although, if she were to run into
Adventure
Melter,
1,
she would
about-
potentially die to the explosion,
2
which
last
would
turn,
be
not 3.
amazing. Yeah, the last game I played against Ash, I played Harry the Harridan, and it shot Celestine. She died. She did not come back. The Harridan's power was too strong.
Yeah, that's probably not like the righteous death against the forces of chaos that
Yeah.
Celestine's used to.
If we have overlooked something very important, which is that there's an entire unit of Repentia remaining on Rentar's side. Alright, well,
okay,
There you go.
Magifire
I wasn't
is
overlooking that. I mean, that
6.
Dutes is about to
12.
have.
yeah, I wasn't sure.
One
what was gonna
Hive
kill the
Guard
Seraphim.
left
I had
in the
forgotten
corner.
that only one of the Repentia units on that side had piled out.
Yep.
Yeah, oops. My bad.
Just going to go.
That's
Yeah.
brutal. Yikes.
Seraphim are going to pop over.
This is very much the mop-up
And then the
phase of the
creature's
game,
gonna
it
run
looks
over.
like, everybody.
Yeah.
And then I'm raising some banners.
Yeah, take
That's
the
gonna
flails
raise
off the anchorites, put mops on there that spin really fast, and
This creature is going to raise a banner. Yeah.
Face Celestine, my
Mhm.
Venom
Just let him
crawler
go.
And
ate
then we
her.
go shooting.
Ah.
Let's go my banners.
Rude.
Yes, I did. Okay. Shooting.
What a weird
she comes
unit,
back at the end of the
Seraphim
phase
into
or
a rhino?
turn.
End of the phase.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So you can,
I think
like,
most of
shoot her and then she comes back and you charge her.
Meltas.
that's what I've
Miss.
done typically with the Blight Hauler list. Is I just like
Yeah.
roll up, shoot her with like 3
Five
multi-meltas,
hits.
and then just charge her.
Yeah, a lot of
Five
times I
ones.
smite her to death and she comes back in the shooting phase and then like a Hive Guard activates.
Yes,
One
sir.
damage. And then 3 bolt pistol shots, because one of them is dead. 1 hit. No ones. Okay. Canoness is gonna shoot this rhino.
Mm-hmm.
That's a hit. And I'm just gonna take a 3 and get a wound.
Okay.
Oh! The Rhino saves against the Inferno Pistol.
This one into
Get out of here, Cannon S.
Kiddo Crew,
Yeah, that
distraction
one is
card
here,
effects
Rhino.
are distraction card effects because they don't do anything. They're just like a distraction.
This one into your
It's also it's
Magifier.
just like a whirlwind of swords. And also a great aura buff.
27.
She is distracting, though.
I think I forgot. my
Yeah, but she's like a
ignore
distraction
missile,
hive
but
tyrant.
That's alright.
You saying Hive Tyrants do stuff?
I only can do it now.
More like Carnifexes.
Not wrong.
The moment
'Cause
you
I-
remember,
It's because I said something. That's why.
cursed yourself.
The Mortifier killed the
This
Magifier.
Anchorite is going to shoot. Can't shoot the Repentia. Can't shoot anything else. So it's just going to shoot this Rhino, which is sticking out over here.
Okay.
6 shots.
We're definitely proving out which of the characters has like the cooler method of conveyance.
3
It's
saves.
simply than Triumph.
-1, so 4 ups.
Why does Judith have like creepy
It's
little
two.
eggs on her base?
Okay,
Creepy eggs on
that
her
would move
face.
to charges.
Oh, she's just got rocks. I think they're just.
Yeah, no CP, so.
Those are
I think
Cannon
she's
Just
got
a
like
rocks.
a ruined,
Rhino.
like a
Okay.
ruined thing. Those are bricks or something.
like a ruined animal sanctuary.
That
rolling
sounds
for
terrible.
the
Emu eggs or
Bitch.
something.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh no, Cannon has
There she
failed
goes.
to charge. All right, there she goes.
No one in Sisters fails a charge.
She had to stop and think about it for a second.
Yeah, this Anchorite into your Repentia.
Mhm.
Sit in. And
So,
the other one is going to charge.
Given the
your-
course of this game, do you think that
Hospitella and your
the
Repentia.
Mortifiers have proven themselves the superior build of Sororitas
Fine.
list, or do you think that going first is just really good?
I think going first is the superior build, and Mortifiers.
Nope, you can
have a
zero
gun?
kills if you need to this
They
one, I
do
guess
have a
no.
gun.
So you know what, this one will be close.
I mean, it's a good gun.
Okay.
It's a really
There
good
you go,
gun.
closest
Or I
model.
guess
It's
it's a
pretty good
pair
gun.
of pretty okay guns that, when they're with their
Then
powers
there is
combined, turn
these
into one
Repentia
pretty
into your
good gun.
Seraphim.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like one game does not quite bear out the that battle.
hmm I also think that they are teched particularly good for this matchup. The Retributors feel very much better in a lot of other matchups. Like I think against Space Marines, you'd much rather have Retributors because they can kill Mortifiers pretty well, but Retributors kill the crap out of their stuff. But it seems like lists are very quickly moving towards teching for Sisters and Harlequins. Because as
I
we've
feel like-
seen over the last couple of streams, those are the
So
two
start
strongest
with-
factions currently. And
So I think
they seem
Sisters
to-
have I believe
hold on,
Sisters have a very poor win rate into
Yeah, I
orcs and demons right now.
Alright,
And I think the Mortifiers are a flex
Yeah,
into that
Rhino.
also. Like
Yeah,
Mortifiers
they
play
can
very well into both those
help you fight
matchups.
through
Okay.
hordes.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Sisters
Horde-
like
Yeah, she will.
previously their biggest anti-horde tool was Repentia, and they
I'm gonna
can
do
Yeah.
3
you know,
damage on my
if you
explode.
trade poorly with Repentia, and especially
Sixes.
if you need to make multiple charges
Did I
in a turn,
explode?
that opens them up to get interrupt and killed, and that is not
Stacking
a,
Soporific
Okay.
Musk, like just the Warlord trait
Anchorite
off
2 is
of
gonna
an
swing
Exalted
Repentia.
Greater Demon, and then like Silesks, or not Silesks, the other negative hit. Like you can pull 3 attacks out of a Repentia squad
Anchorite
and like
3 is going to swing everything.
completely declaw that gameplay mechanic
Okay.
of Repentia too off of that army. Like that army's real rough, but Mortifiers don't care that much.
They're also
Like,
just
push
basically
out
the,
18 shots each.
the unit is smaller,
Okay, 5 up for Junie.
and so they can
It is
like,
much harder to kill.
Well, they can also
I
like
think
they
I
can
died
position a little bit more
Yeah.
cagely. I think like they don't need to spread out so far to get all their attacks in.
And
Kidda
then
Crew,
this
they
is
have
your
heavy bolters on the
Repentia.
Mortifiers. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know why you would ever take the Flamer option. It seems so bad.
No.
Okay, 5.
Definitely not. I don't get the costing on Flamers out of Games Workshop is still very confusing to me.
Yeah, they're very expensive.
2.
Yeah,
Pull.
unfortunately I can't get her out.
I think a lot of them may still be paying for the fact
Yeah,
that they used to Overwatch
and only
very
one
well,
of them
but
can
now
fight her because
that the mechanic has been
Yeah.
retooled.
Well, I guess 2.
It's not as
So-
important.
But that mechanic But they weren't even good at overwatching
but you're
then.
not within half
Like
of half. You're within half of one.
they were good if you had like, you know,
if you were to,
if you were salamanders
pile
and you
in.
could move to get them
Yes,
into
but
range,
you
and
fight
then do it
first.
with a unit that had like 15 flamers.
Mhm.
But like
Yeah,
outside of that, it's like, oh my
These
tank has
Serpentia,
one
2,
flamer on the
3,
side. Let me
4,
roll it. Oh, I
5,
got a
6,
3.
7, 8,
3
9.
hits.
Just
I
do your
did 2
pile and
wounds. You
pick
saved
up.
2 of them.
Yeah, it has
that
to
was
be
good
a
use of
unit
my clock
that's
time.
I wasn't planning on
dedicated
buying
to
it.
flaming.
Yeah.
So.
Alright, cool. There's no more
Like,
threats.
flamers in general just like
Okay.
are an opportunity
And then
cost because
consolidate.
most of the time you're not at shooting them because they're not in range, and if they are in range, you're probably getting charged and you're dead.
Okay.
So like
and then you
to get good use out of them, you need to have a unit that's
Serpentia.
nothing but them, and your game plan
Alright, so I'll
needs to
put
be just
4
to
into the
delete
healthy
like
one
unit
and
after unit.
Just one into the other guy.
Which like
Okay.
some units do. Like there's definitely there are units in there that are
12
just
into
nothing but
the healthy
flamers,
guy.
like hand flamer acolytes. That's what they do.
Was charged.
But you're never gonna see like good efficiency out of like the one flamer in the
Explode.
tactical squad. And like no one's ever gonna. Everyone will
There's 3.
test putting the
Healthy
flamer
ones,
on their
just-
Chimera, and then everyone will take the flamer back off their Chimera.
That was a terrible roll from Dutes's Repentia right
I
there.
will spend
It was like 8
CP
ones and 2s.
and throw away 2 2s to make one of those
Thanks.
falls.
Yeah.
Sure.
That's gonna cost him the
Yeah,
game right
no,
there.
Moment of grace
Oof.
to make that let that anchorite survive. Oh
Right.
my gosh.
That was a
And
bad
then
roll
your
though.
The other
Brutal.
2 hits. 2 wounds.
Nope. And nope. Does go down swinging. No. Whew.
Fight phase.
Not done yet. So let's see.
That's fine. I'm not going to be using Miracle.
Okay, Celestine gets her 6 attacks.
Haha. Take that.
We did.
Was Celestine within an inch where she was back
Yeah.
then? She was?
Yeah,
Cool.
we
Yeah,
measured
yeah.
it. So she was consolidates, and then I'll spend 3 CP. Mortifier will fight again.
Go for
Just
Which is why I
the knockout
saved
punch
it.
here with the double swing and the Mortifier. We're going to try to kill these Repentia. Leaving dudes with Rhino and
He's
Junith.
winning on 2s.
Brutal.
8 saves.
Is this treatment?
Billion 5-ups. Literally 0.
5 ups. 5 ups again.
Watching like turn 5
Yeah,
though,
it's
dude
okay.
says the thing where he starts making that like that mouth noise into his microphone,
dude.
like there's a lot of
And
like
Junith will
static.
save this whole
He's
game.
like, oh no, you're breaking up, you're breaking up. I gotta
Too much lag. We can't finish this game.
can't finish the
Kill
game.
him.
Oh,
No,
it crashed.
sorry.
Oh, no.
Oh
She'll
no.
save it with the Rhino.
Oh, you're fading out.
She and the Rhino.
Yep. Yeah, so dudes, at
Alright,
least dudes
then yours,
with
I
no
get 3
objectives
for
remaining,
engage.
so I don't believe that
Yeah,
we
we
can score any
can
extra
talk
points.
this out, though.
Yeah.
Sure.
I'll get 0. No more bring it down.
Look at
no
these
more
incredibly
release,
bleached
no
skeletons on these like
engage.
tallest ruins.
Yeah, they're,
Yeah.
they're windswept.
I'm gonna get.
They're
okay,
like
so
they're
So you
staying
get 15
together even
again?
though nothing holds the
No.
bones together.
Yep, I'll get 15.
It's not
Flags
super
I get 3.
That's like my favorite thing
And
about
then-
skeletons
then,
that are just like hanging
Junith
from
will
stuff
die.
in movies.
Oh.
3, 4, 5.
That there's nothing. The skeletons don't hang
So you
together.
got banners on.
That's not a thing.
I mean, you
Okay.
could raise a banner here and
Oh,
just
you have
max.
no more. You have no
It
more
takes a lot of
characters
work
left, right?
to get a skeleton to
Just
stay
do that,
together.
right?
It's like
Just
200
do it,
something bones.
Yeah, so I should
You know?
get 15 because you had 6 characters.
Yeah. Oh, I was
Effort.
talking about raise the banners, which
Oh,
you should
yeah,
max
uh,
by getting
Raise the banners, I get here, and then I raise 1, 2, 2 more, so I get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, 5.
Did you see the orc model they just redid?
And 3 for
I did not.
engage. So it's
Yep.
92.
Ooh, we did raise that. We did max
Well
banners
played.
by dropping them every.
One of them.
Made a
last
big-
turn.
Those are so scary.
Someone did.
Yeah, I made a big boo boo getting when I rolled this advance.
Yep.
It was not supposed to happen. So these should have been alive for another turn, which I think would have.
All right, people in
swayed the
chat. If
game
you
a
have
little
questions
bit.
for the players, dump them
Yeah,
in there.
But,
Probably.
not gonna lie, kind of tilted myself a little bit there after that. But yeah, I think you played it really well.
It was about how I kind of pictured it.
Mhm.
Honestly, except Catherine turn 1 advance was so bad. I was hoping for like a 4, then at least I could use her as like a distraction kind of effect for your Repentia, like for your
Mhm.
Retributors.
Yeah,
And if your Retributors had shot her instead of the Rhinos, I would have been happy. Instead of the Mortifiers, I would have been very happy. And if they hadn't shot her, I would still have been happy. But no, she rolled a 1 for advance and I couldn't move her anyway.
Yeah, morts were definitely my number one priority. Because I have different ways to kill the Repentia. The morts I kind of need, like, unless you get crazy with them and like allow me to charge them with Repentia, I kind of need the Retributors to take the morts out.
Yeah.
Kiddo Crew, now you can ask questions about other stuff if you want.
I'm surprised you didn't charge this Rhino into the Seraphim though.
It wasn't really going to do anything.
Might have killed 1 or 2.
Yeah, maybe. But either way, you still shoot it again.
Yeah. Oh, this was a bloody game.
Yes, it was. I knew it was going to be bloody. After I saw the
A
deployment,
bloody
I was like,
rose of
"Oh."
a game.
It was a bloody rose of a game. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, we were pretty excited when the Seraphim jumped down and killed both the units of the Battle Sisters on 4 and 6. We're like, the comeback may be coming, but unfortunately it looks like maybe a little bit too late, I think.
Yeah, I was, my math in my head too was like, yeah, there will be like 1 on both objective, maybe 2.
Mm-hmm.
Was not expecting to wipe both the squads.
Yeah, that was impressive for sure.
Yeah, I think it would have been better for me if one of these survived, because I had the miracle dice at that time to make the charge too, so that would have been pretty sick. But I can't complain for the unit that did its job this game.
If you had charged them, these Repentia would have hopped out early.
That's true, but I think I would have knocked. I can't remember entirely, but I think I would have knocked you down a point, maybe, or no? I guess you were already 0 at that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I guess it wouldn't have done much.
Yeah, I kind of expected to have 1 really bad turn. I was not expecting to have 0 for a turn, but yeah.
Yeah, it's the hold 2 to get 5, right? Like that can just make that happen.
Mm-hmm.
Also, forgetting the Repentia Superior was just like very questionable.
I don't think you needed her, but yeah, that was funny. I guess that kind of let
It
me
did give
slingshot up
Zephyr
here.
and potentially get the objective, yeah.
Yeah.
Like it didn't make a difference in my turn because the Repentia went range for charge aura, but it did make a very big difference in your turn. She would have been somewhere here, and then you would have had a really hard time slingshotting.
How about the Repentia bouncing off the rhinos with +1 wounds?
That's honestly not that rare.
Yeah, I mean, I should have at least killed the 1, I think. Like, mathematically, I kill the 1, and then the other one I should have crippled, but... Because I only needed 1 to pop, and then the rhino should have done a lot of blocking, but...
Yeah,
that was a very swingy play, I will admit that.
Yeah, relying on 5 pluses is not...
Well, it's 4s.
Oh, yeah, relying on... Well, 4 pluses is still not that great.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like that swingy move there. Yeah, if I would have had this Repentia squad get out here and make this charge on this rhino, I think that would have potentially saved me.
The Repentia, you mean?
Yeah, what'd I say? Retributors?
You said rhino.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I guess because I popped the rhino. Yeah, so go into the Retributors, or the Repentia there.
Also, killing this squad of Battle Sisters at the start was big.
Yeah, that was big. It was okay. That's why I left the Zephyr on the table, because I was like, just in case I lose something, they can like pop over somewhere and raise the banner.
I figured honestly that you would hop Becky out to raise the banner and then send the Zephyr, but then you send the Zephyr to raise the banner, and I was like, this is going better than expected.
Yeah. Also, in my mind, I was gonna leave Becky in here, move up, and start coming this way with Becky, because Becky can just go off on her own little missions and
Yep. My Becky did that.
Exactly, right? So.
But yeah, the other thing was that 10-inch charges and Mortifiers was like, what?
Oh yeah, that was a good one.
I was not expecting it to happen. but I had nothing else to charge with them, so I was just like, roll it.
I was not expecting to only kill one squad of Morts with the with all my Melta, especially with the strat. I was hoping it to at least get that
True.
second squad.
Yeah, but having Celestine's inbound bubble made a difference. Saved
it
one
was-
of those.
It was that. It was that. It was the -1 to hit, and it was a bunch of rolls, 2 and 3. I think it was under most of those.
The first set was under, then after that it was about average. As in, the first set into this, your cherubs all hit. I think. No, cherubs 1 missed out of 3.
Yeah, I think the cherubs hit. It was the initial volley that only killed like 1, maybe. I can't remember.
The initial volley killed 2, but because you missed with 5, that one I remember.
Yeah, I think if I had a short table deployment,
Yeah,
this would have been a little easier.
yeah, would have been much harder for me. Like I was worried about getting for rolling up. Which map was it? Not Beltlines. Right. Retrieval mission.
Oh, was that the Necron one? Yeah. Yeah, that one would have been fantastic.
Not the Necron one. The one where it's the one where it's like this 1v here, this 1v here, and then a bunch of rubble in these corners. And then
yeah.
then the 2 boxes here.
It's like the Orky map.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that one would have been a nightmare for me.
Yeah, I don't think I've lost a game on that map with this army.
I mean, it's usually a very easy map for me to play, but with this list, but against Retributors, it's...
Is that because the Retributors have such a good castle that they can jump out of whenever they need to? Because they have good lanes of fire down the center.
Yeah, I mean it's like if I have a V, I can castle them up and basically make them unchargeable.
Mm-hmm.
Like even if I'm worried about stuff coming around the edge, like I just put a Rhino here.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you can't go anywhere. You can't interact with the Retributors until I say it's time to go. So
that's like because that mission was the one. I mean, when I was playing White Scars, that's the one Ashley trashed me in, and this army plays not the same but quite similarly, and against your list, which is quite similar to her list.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, even going first would be difficult.
Mm-hmm.
I
think if I had won the roll off, I would have let you go first anyways, because there was nothing I could do really turn 1 aside from like race some banners, but like
shoot a couple of rhinos.
Yeah, maybe, but I don't want to put the Retributors out just to do that.
Well, good game.
Good game. Well played.
Yeah, that was a good one. I don't think we have any questions, unless Shuma, you have any more thoughts that you wanna discuss with the players. But it was an interesting one to watch for sure. I definitely think that at least round 3 it was a little touch and go there, but the attrition was on your side, Ash. So it seems like that snowball was rolling at that point.
Yeah. Honestly, this whole pod was scary for me because other than Harlequins and Dudes, I have bad matchups across the board. I had bad matchups. Like if I ran into the Iron Hands list at any point, I just automatically lose.
That was a close game. Oh my goodness. That was I went second on that one. Fire Raptor.
Yeah, I was watching.
I don't like Fire Raptors in my castle. Ew.
Oh yeah.
Oh, is Dude running the double Fire Raptor army in the pod?
Single Fire Raptor and a bunch of Iron Hand Dreadnoughts.
Yeah. Like 3 Redemptors, a Leviathan, a Fire Raptor. Yeah, that was scary to face.
You don't plan for the aircraft so much anymore in 9th Ed. So when they pop out, especially the big ones, it's like a whole new game paradigm you have to play around because they can just see whatever they want most of the time.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
My big problem with that list is that everything takes one less damage from everything.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And my army kind of maxes out at D2 weapons.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sisters is going to be an interesting play into new Death Guard.
Yeah. That's why I
I
think the Retributors are going to stick around. At
I'm-
least
I'm
the
not
Melt ones.
I'm going to be sticking with this because even if the heavy bolters are weaker, Repentia, I might swap one Repentia Rhino for a squad of Zephyrim, but other than that, I don't think I'm making any changes because even though the mods don't shoot well into the Death Guard, they swing
still got
well
the
into the
flails.
Death Guard.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's one thing we were discussing, especially against sort of high toughness stuff. The flails underperform a little bit compared to the saws, but the 1 damage with a bunch of attacks versus 2 flat damage. 2 flat is just like so inconsistent right now because of the -1 damage stuff being available.
And it feels like to me you can make up for that deficiency just with Miracle Dice Meltas too. Like unless your opponent is like a like a Knight's Army or just some other wall of T8 into hordes.
Yeah.
But then that's why I bring Mortifiers, because Mortifiers kill hordes like
Oh yeah, yeah. Those things are terrifying for for my Orc army. I just look at one unit of those things. I'm like, oh, that averagely kills this entire squad. Uh-oh.
Yep.
Huh.
A squad of Mortifiers on average without shooting will kill 19 out of 20 Necron warriors.
Oh boy.
So if you add in the fact that given how they're vehicles and can't go through can't go through breachable, and so they're usually walking around it, you're probably killing 2 or 3 Necron warriors in shooting, which gives you a bit of leeway when it comes to the charge and killing a bunch of warriors.
And they probably lose a couple in leadership as well after that.
It's more about the reanimation, like
Yeah,
punching through reanimations.
you want to confirm the kill on the unit before they get to roll.
Yeah.
So it's this hits really well into Silvertide. It hits really well into Orcs, into Nids. My list honestly does really
Queens.
badly against Knights because I have nothing.
Yeah. Custodies.
Custodies actually do pretty well, except against Dreadnought lists, because heavy bolters against Custodies actually do pretty well. And Mortifiers,
What about the
Strength 6, AP2 is a perfect profile to deal with Custodies.
yeah? I guess I'm thinking of like the Dreadnought list and the Shadowkeeper Flyer list.
The Shadowkeeper Flyer list is hell. The Dreadnought list is hell. Everything else that Custodies bring is fine. And the Shadowkeeper Flyer list I can deal with by simply killing everything else.
Yeah, true that. Because you got enough stuff.
Yep, and then I just camp on primaries and pray. Pray that the clock hasn't ticked down too far. Yeah, the other bad matchup for this Imperial Guard and Tau.
Ooh, I got a spicy guard list coming up.
Probably not going to run into too many Tau these days. How does it play into your standard Tyranid list with 9 or 12 Hive Guard and a couple of X-Crins?
Usually quite well, I think, because I lose 2 or 3 I lose 3 Mortifiers to the Hive Guard, or if I lose turn 1, or I lose. But if they take turn 1, move the Exocrines out, I aim 54 heavy bolter shots at a single Exocrine, do 12 wounds on average, delete 1. Effectively delete 1 anyway.
Yeah, I imagine you wouldn't have a hard time killing the X-Crins themselves. It's mostly just whatever attrition the Hive Guard can do, and if you're able to get to them, which Repentia probably could. How did Repentia do into Tyranid Warriors?
Oh, they kill them super dead.
Okay.
Ridiculously well. Yeah.
All right, that'll do it then.
Zoanthropes is what you also don't want to see, really.
Yeah.
With
But
Sisters.
Yeah, maybe you can just save your 4 plus the eye for their super smite, and then they don't do anything. And you'll eventually kill them with heavy bolter shots.
Zoans, it's mostly that you need to screen them with the rhinos if you can, and if you really want to get them killed, you hit them with mortifiers with rerolling ones.
Yeah, I guess Mortifiers go into them pretty well.
Yeah, big issue with them is like they're resilient, but their wounds are not particularly efficient because they're 45 points a model. So you're just like, even if they are relatively survivable, the amount of work that it takes to kill them is usually not that big a deal because they're so expensive.
Yeah, that's true.
Or just Daka them down with heavy bolters if they pop their heads out when the Exocrines don't.
Yeah. You can even just like engage them with Repentia, and then their smite has to go into them, and they don't do anything, after that.
Yeah, I get that feeling pain.
Yeah.
Or get Becky into them. Null Rod Becky.
Yeah.
The ultimate counter.
Yeah, there's like so much counterplay to Zone Throbes. I don't think that they're like that big of a deal, honestly. Almost everybody can just put a dumb unit in front of them, and they don't do any damage. And they're only 5 models for standing on objectives, so.
Yeah, the big one is Hiveguard, honestly. Hiveguard are carrying Penitent right now.
Yeah.
Hiveguard are always the secret sauce in that tier of line.
I don't know if it's secret. It's just the sauce.
Well, it's secret in that it's behind a wall and you can't see it.
It's the
Spooky.
It's the 11
The
herbs
sauce.
and spices, except all of them are public information.
How do you think I wonder how my kill tank list that I'm rolling into now would do there. There's so many like weird edge cases where sisters can just do 70 wounds to a TA thing, if they're allowed to.
I would love to play that list with this list.
But all I can say is that I am full of misery at Pod 21 because I ran into Custodes, then I ran into Dreadnought Custodes, and then I'm playing Tau.
I did that
So
just
the only
for
reason
you.
I played
I massaged
the
these
only reason-
mashups just for you.
the only reason I played against Dreadnought Custodes is because I played Custodes round 1, and so I couldn't score high. And then because I lost to them, I'm playing against Tau, and so I'm just miserable.
What is the Tau weakness?
Tau weakness is that I can't really interact with a lot of that shit.
Is it just because Repentia have a hard time into armies that still have universal Overwatch and pack a lot of flamers?
Yep, and currently the Tau list are running those stupid stealth flyer thingies.
The what?
But piranhas, remoras.
Oh, was it like the Piranha Tetra list?
Tetras. Yeah.
Or maybe it's running the remoras. I can't remember what fish it is, but it's a fish list.
The Tetra is their like land speeder that's like really good out of Forge World, and the Piranha is the Tetra, but it's just one melt-a-gun.
No, it's the remora one then, the stealth drones.
Yeah, the little
Okay,
flyers.
that's the Remora. Yeah. Oh, was it the flying drone spam? I love that model. I think so cool. I wanted to play that in Combat Patrol.
It's so hard to interact. Like this list barely interacts with it at all.
Yeah.
I mean, I just shoot them, but that's it. That's all I can do. Shoot them with Mortifiers that are hitting on 4s against their stealth, and they're always in cover or something. Don't remember exactly how they work, but some weird interaction like that. They're always -1 to hit, and they're always in cover. So I'm just wounding them. Like I'm wounding them on 4. I'm hitting them on 4s, wounding them on 4s, and they're saving on 3s. And because they have 5 wounds, it's inefficient.
They also have a minimum move, but they're not aircraft, right? So they can just like move and like hover in place.
No, they are aircraft.
Didn't they like forget to give them the aircraft rule in the Imperial Armor?
Well, the minimum move just is the amount of distance you have to end from your starting point. So they don't have the rules where you have to like travel in straight lines, but you do.
Right.
To,
Oh yeah.
You do have to move. You do have to end the X many inches from where they began. So it's just it still applies, but it's just they're more flexible than regular aircraft.
So it's
How
just
people
really...
updated for these things? Do they actually have 3 wounds? That feels wrong.
No, Wahapedia hasn't updated.
Yeah, it's updated for some stuff, but they're
Yeah,
that guys.
If you open the data sheet on Waha and you hover, like there'll be the icon on the top right. You hover over it, it'll tell you which version it's from.
Oh yeah, I didn't even know that was there.
Very nice.
Nice.
All right, everybody. I'm gonna go ahead and turn off the stream now. But thanks for playing. That was a good game. Congratulations, Ash, on your win.
Yep, good game.
The scores have been submitted, so you're all set. And have a good one.